Could you hear people? Oh, nice. Oh, nice. My mic is hot. Welcome, everybody, to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We're here. We're making it happen, and we're having a good time doing it. Thanks for being here, everybody. As usual, YouTube will get half of the show, but if you want to get the rest of the show, go ahead and follow us in any one of our many locations. You can find those locations at CanaryCry.Party. Go check it out. Not much to say today. I am, as we speak, sending out the text messages for those who wanted the text alerts for the show. So if you're interested in receiving text alerts for the show when we go live, go ahead and text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That's 877-740-3226. Texting Canary will put you on the list, baby, and you'll start receiving text message alerts directly to your phone when we go live, so you'll never miss a show again. Isn't that exciting? All right. Well, we've got a wonderful show today. Very excited. I don't know. I don't think there's anything else to say. So not a whole lot of chat coming through. I'm seeing chat from Twitch and DLive. Not seeing any YouTube chat. So maybe the YouTube chat is all messed up like it was before. So we'll just figure it out as we go, folks. So go ahead, stay hydrated. It's very important. And yeah, buckle your seatbelts. Let's get to going. Whee!
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 18th, 2022. We are live to tape on episode 460. And today, Deepfake UFOBAMA. Razzle dazzle. I'm your best buddy, Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Mm-hmm. And speaking of world events...
Oh.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
This DailyMail.co.uk headline, you know, they really did capitalize on the ability to just summarize the story in a headline and then just, you know, have a whole bunch of stuff in the actual article itself. But the headline here, Moscow and Kyiv are halfway there in key parts of their peace talks, with the two sides now discussing, quote, nuances. Russia claims as Putin's stalled forces strike Lviv, 40 miles from Poland, as part of effort to bomb Ukraine into submission.
Wow. Yeah, that they really just give it all to you right off the bat there, don't they?
The headline is really just crammed with information there. So that's
what else do you need to know?
I guess nothing.
Gonz.
I guess
nothing.
Putin, bad man. As long as we just repeat that, we're in the clear. Isn't that right?
I love the focus on nuance. Like, you wouldn't understand. It's very complicated, very nuanced. Yeah. It's a good sign, though. It's a good sign. They've been the past 3 days. They've really been cranking up the optimism, optimism for the whole situation, which is nice of them to do. But you can tell that as they crank up the optimism for World War III, they're also dialing back the optimism for coronavirus. There's more and more little stories of, China's shutting down. More cases. The spring. It's going to be a dark, deadly spring.
The dark spring after the dark winter.
The cold spring.
The cold spring. Yeah, there's But that's, a part of the challenge here with all of this. And this is one of the things we've challenged all of our listeners, producers, people coming in and out to really question everything that's being published everywhere right now. It's really difficult to know exactly what's going on unless you're boots on the ground. So keeping that in mind here, one of the stories that popped up here in the last day or so, UN's highest court orders Russia to end its deadly war operations in Ukraine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So this is the bureaucracy.
That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for finally someone with some authority to tell Russia to stop it.
Well, that's what's funny is that now they're starting to, these international institutions are throwing around their bureaucratic weight, so it's kind of interesting to watch. Now, this is a professor here from Yale Law, and he's talking about the whole situation here. He was representing, or he was part of the whole UN highest court, who ordered Russia to stop the military operations.
This could be a very tough haul. The vote in the International Court of Justice, it's definitely a major win for Ukraine. But, Harold, some may argue it's mostly symbolic. So does this have any teeth?
No.
Well, that's like saying that when the Supreme Court of the United States ordered Richard Nixon to turn over the tapes, it was largely symbolic. It's a ruling of law. No court has enforcement authority, but what it does is it has the ability to brand somebody's actions as illegal, make them a pariah, and make them isolated. That's exactly what President Zelensky says, is this dramatically weakens President Putin's bargaining position. And I think most important, a 13-2 vote will make the Chinese feel very skeptical about whether they really want to side with Putin unequivocally going forward, because to do so associates themselves with that level of equality. So this was a victory for international law. It's only an important first step, but it was not a close case. It was 13-2 with only the Russian and the Chinese judge dissenting. And it's an important step, as you say, on the way to further isolating Putin, driving him into negotiations with a relatively weak hand, and strengthening the case for more sanctions and more accountability against him for the war crimes that he's committing every day.
Branding him an outlaw.
Outlaw.
Branding him an outlaw. Yeah, this is pretty funny. I'm surprised it took so long. I mean, it seems like such a easy step, at least if you compare it to what we've been, what the media has been expressing, what politicians have been expressing, what the international community has been expressing for, 3 weeks now? Over 3 weeks. And just now, they're having international courts take a vote on whether this is cool
it's bureaucracy.
Or not.
It takes a little while for the wheels to start spinning, and you got to order a meeting, there. And you got to get on the Zoom call. It's a whole ordeal, man. It takes forever.
People have they have golfing weekends and kids' birthday parties. They can't just drop everything just because Putin's going AWOL.
Which is, it's really interesting, though, because it is sort of showing the contrast of, in our state today, these world institutions that nobody really voted for. Like, we didn't vote for these institutions and representatives in these institutions to enforce some kind of international law. But, of course, after World War II and the New World Order and all that kind of stuff has developed this climate. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Everything they say here seems skeptical. I
love what they said, though, that this is basically, just solidifying the fact that Putin's a pariah, and it's a bargaining chip. It's a bargaining position.
But they're declaring all this. There was a vote, all this kind of stuff, but it's kind of, it still feels like it's out of thin air. There's no weight to it. It's just like these big elite people just saying, yes, it's law. I'm a professor at Yale Law, and I'm saying it's law, therefore it's law. It's like, okay, I guess the magic continues.
Right, which is kind of to say that it's the same people. It's the same people who've been mad the whole time.
Now listen to this. This is from the same interview, 30-second clip, the same gentleman comparing Putin to cancer.
Kira, the way to think about this is the way that you think about a fight against cancer. If it doesn't kill you in the first go, if you can survive, then chemotherapy and other kinds of stronger working solutions can act. So it needs the Ukrainian people to survive on the ground, and then for law to work through its processes to isolate the disease, which here is Putin's aggression and atrocities.
So kind of an interesting analogy there. I don't know if he thinks he was clever with that comparison, but isn't that weird? It's like, yeah, the UN is kind of like chemotherapy. We're just going to keep pounding away at this disease called Putin until he goes away. If it kills us, it's just
really
like this weird declaration of fight to the death.
It really is weird. And, he's been compared to so many different things. It's almost like this guy just ran out of metaphors. Or,
I know.
Everything's been said. He's a despot. He's an authoritarian. He's a tyrant. He's literally Hitler. He's literally Trump. He's, he's all these. I don't know, man. What can we call him now that people won't just tune out? I don't know. He's cancer. How about that?
People
folks?
can relate to cancer. We've killed lots of people with cancer. So,
well, I think it's funny. It's funny because it's almost the same. I mean, what is cancer besides the Hitler of diseases?
Right, exactly. The thing that won't go away, that we must eradicate through a long process of bureaucracy and law.
A valiant attempt at sort of a new take on the rhetoric.
Yeah. There's some more clips here from stuff out there. CNBC had on Shep Smith. He had a guy named Michael Weiss on. And this first clip, it's not as important. I was thinking about skipping it. Basically, he's talking about how intelligence reports from Estonia and some of the local, nearby nations suggest that Putin has like a couple months left if he really wants to go full board, and that a lot of, the stuff we've heard about, a lot of the Russian soldiers are, and by the way, so Ukraine is labeling everything that the list of casualties includes people that just walked away from their vehicles or their weapons or whatever. They can just be kind of hanging out in Ukraine.
That's a really good point. That's a good thing to bring up. And we've talked about it before. But yeah, technically, the military definition of a casualty is not always a death.
Right. It's like a disarmament.
It includes wounded, and it includes,
people that just quit.
It just means any soldier who is no longer fighting or cannot fight or whatever. Yeah.
So, that was an interesting point there. And, saying that Putin only has a short amount of time. But then this clip over here was kind of interesting as well.
Incredible. Michael, could some of Putin's generals have duped him? I mean, on how ready they were, how much equipment they actually had?
So there's a dispute here about what's actually taking place. I can tell you that Putin has already begun to cannibalize his own regime in a very Stalinist manner. There are purges taking place, house arrests of major FSB generals, including the head of the so-called Fifth Service, which is the foreign intelligence arm of the FSB, the domestic security apparatus, which, believe it or not, has a foreign intelligence arm. This guy is now apparently under house arrest. There have been reports that up to 8 generals in the army are also under house arrest. I saw today the head of Russia's National Guard has been placed under house arrest. So the question is, why is this happening? Is it because they sold Putin a bill of goods? They told him they were going to have a cakewalk and that Ukrainians were going to greet the Russians with open arms and chocolates and flowers? Or is it because he is interpreting in his paranoid KGB mind? Remember, this is going back to sort of Cold War mentality. He's interpreting failure as betrayal. Why are my generals not succeeding? Is it because they're working for the West? Have they defected in place? Are they moles? I mean, remember, how did the United States know, almost down to the date, that Putin was going to invade Ukraine? It's because he's probably, his entire regime is perforated with leakers and moles.
Yeah, leakers and moles. That's why. That's why Biden knew. It wasn't the lizard people memo going out to all the outlets.
That explains it.
Yeah.
This is an interesting topic, though. I just dropped a little link there into our document. And I meant to bring this story, but I think it just fits in as a quick mention here.
Okay.
And this is over on Yahoo News, mirrored from Business Insider, which, take that for what it's worth. The headline is "Private Jets from Russia are flying to Dubai after Putin threatened to purge Russian society of traitors."
Purge Russian society.
And this is not the right article that I wanted, but it's a clip. The long story short is he made a speech and mentioned we must purge ourselves, this self-purge that he's been talking about. And of course, the U.S. media is freaking out about this. They're, comparing it to like the what is it? Like, obviously Hitler. A self-cleansing. That's what it was called. A self-cleansing of society.
Did he use the word purge or cleansing?
He used purge, I believe.
Because
self-purification of society, I believe, was the actual word.
Interesting.
And it was about exactly what we're talking about, which is westernized oligarchs, oligarchs who, became oligarchs through the support of Putin in sort of a quid pro quo, where they help support his power and he gives them access to all sorts of things, making them incredibly rich. And he made this speech complaining that they're westernized, the oligarchs, the westernized oligarchs, and we must have a self-purification of these westernized oligarchs.
Yeah, it sounds kind of Q-ish.
It's spooky. Sounds like a lot of things.
Well, it sounds. Yeah.
They were trying to compare it to Stalin, which
right.
It's not much of a leap there. Compared it to Hitler, of course, with sort of purification of society,
race, whatever. Yeah.
And so all these oligarchs are jumping on their jets and flying to Dubai, and there is a really interesting sort of conspiratorial tone to the article I was reading. Is like, well, we don't even know who's on those planes, but we know the planes belong to the oligarchs, but maybe they could be decoy planes, or they could be, filled with gold bars, or, all this stuff, which is very interesting. Some were considering a mainstream, corporate news article was talking about how, the oligarchs are flying to Dubai to escape a nuclear bomb that's going to go off in Russia or something like that. It was wild conspiracy theories, which of course I love. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but considering it was full on mainstream corporate news is pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, all of this is very interesting from the stepping away and analyzing the media and really seeing the division, propaganda West, propaganda Russia, it's very, it's hard to know what's going on. But who's going to set us straight is Arnold, the Terminator.
Oh, good.
Is going to set us straight. I clipped this down. It was a 9-minute thing. We can stop whenever you want. We can skip stuff, whatever. But I consolidated it down to about 3 minutes. I actually think this was well done. It was well produced. Speaking of actors and politicians and the blending of the two with Zelensky over there in Ukraine, obviously, the prototypes, there's many prototypes going back to Reagan and even before that, but, following in those footsteps, Schwarzenegger, obviously the governor of California in early 2000s. And he's very political. He's very personal. He does a good job with presenting like a personal touch to this message to the Russians. So let's hear a little bit of it.
I'm speaking to you today because there are things that are going on in the world that are being kept from you. Terrible things that you should know about.
Like Skynet? Probably not, sorry.
But before I talk about the harsh realities, let me just tell you about the Russian who became my hero. That ever since...
So I skipped the whole part where he talks about the Russian weightlifter that he idolized as a kid, and his father was part of the Nazis, so he didn't like the poster of the Russian guy on the wall, but he sided with the Russian people, and he loves Russian people. He does a whole thing there. Then he goes on.
My hero. That ever since I was 14 years old, I've had nothing but affections and respect for the people of Russia. The strength and the heart of the Russian people have always inspired me. And that is why I hope that you will let me tell you the truth about the war in Ukraine and what is happening there. No one likes to hear something critical of the government, I understand that. But as a longtime friend of the Russian people, I hope that you will hear what I have to say. And may I remind you that I speak with the same heartfelt concern as I spoke to the American people when there was an attempted insurrection on January 6th last year. It is a humanitarian crisis. Because of its brutality, Russia is now isolated from the Society of Nations. You're also not being told the truth about the consequences of this war on Russia itself. I regret to tell you that thousands of Russian soldiers that have been killed. They have been caught between Ukrainians fighting for their homeland and the Russian leadership fighting for conquest. When I see babies being pulled out of ruins, I think that I'm watching a documentary about the horrors of the Second World War, not the news of the day. Now let me tell you, when my father arrived in Leningrad, he was all pumped up on the lies of his government. And when he left Leningrad,
he's pumped up on Nazi propaganda.
My father was so pumped up.
My father was pumped up on Nazis.
He was all pumped up on the lies of his government.
Wait, that's a good idea. This is all pumped up.
Okay, but yes, there were consequences to being pumped up to Nazi propaganda.
On the lies of his government. And when he left Leningrad, he was broken, physically and mentally. He lived the rest of his life in pain. Pain from a broken back, pain from the shrapnel that always reminded him of these terrible years, and pain from the guilt that he felt. To the Russian soldiers listening to this broadcast, you already know much of the truth that I've been speaking. You have seen it with your own eyes. I don't want you to be broken like my father. This is not the war to defend Russia that your grandfathers or your great-grandfathers fought. This is an illegal war. Your lives.
See, they needed the UN Council to vote on stuff so Arnold can go out there,
illegal.
Right, and call it an illegal war.
Grandfathers or your great-grandfathers fought. This is an illegal war. Your lives, your limbs.
He meant limbs, but he says limps, right? He did say limps.
Yeah.
But the caption says limbs, so if there was no caption, I wouldn't know what he's talking about. But
I mean, they both barely make sense.
Let him finish.
War.
Yeah.
Your lives, your limbs, your futures are being sacrificed for a senseless war condemned by the entire world. Now, to those in power in the Kremlin, let me just ask you, why would you sacrifice those young men for your own ambitions? So I urge the Russian people and the Russian soldiers in Ukraine to understand the propaganda and the disinformation that you're being told. I ask you to help me spread the truth. Let your fellow Russians know the human catastrophe that is happening in Ukraine. And to President Putin, I say, you started this war. You are leading this war. You can stop this war.
There you go.
Screw your freedom.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if I got anything much out of that. This is like, what exactly is the point of this? He's trying to cause the Russians to revolt against Putin?
Yeah, see, that's kind of what I came away with, was like, what is the point? Like, what are you trying to, like, what's the call to action here? Is it just to speak up against, but also it's very interesting how now, out of the West side of things here, you're hearing, or you're starting to see more of these celebrities speak up and try to do these types of mending. I don't know. It seems like a political play to me, or a geopolitical play, I suppose. But to put something out there like this, and to try to be like Peacemaker, try to talk about the nuance, to try to talk about the realities of whatever's going on. And I'm telling the truth. It's very, I just love that, a politician / actor is on screen telling you, I'm telling you the truth. You are being fed propaganda, and I want to make sure you don't believe the propaganda. And it's like, wow, man, that is bizarre.
It was so generic so
no, he did a good job.
What?
I think he did a good job of appealing to the wider normie masses.
Yeah. Well, it was just so generic. Like you said, there's no call to action. There was no real passion. I mean, he had this personal story about his father,
right.
But, the story was, my father felt regret.
Right.
After something bad that he did. It's like, okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty relatable thing to talk about, I guess.
Well, let's, real quickly, if you don't mind, let's
keep going,
talk about how the New York Times relayed this whole thing, and their headline for this story is why Arnold Schwarzenegger taped an impassioned video to Russia telling Putin, stop this war. Let's see, an emotional video posted across social media Thursday. Arnold Schwarzenegger debunked Russian disinformation about war on Ukraine and told President Vladimir Putin.
What are you talking about? He didn't debunk. Well, I didn't watch the whole video, maybe.
No, he didn't debunk anything. I mean, I suppose he was debunking one side of but you know how it is. It's
Did he
straw
present
man
evidence?
I mean, kind of. He had like pictures interspliced into his whole thing. He had that's what I'm saying. It was a very good production. It had multiple camera angles. He had the distant kind of off to the side on wheels, rotating look while he was talking.
Had a little dolly shot going.
A dolly shot, and then interspliced with images, like pretty graphic images of what's going on. So yeah, it was well done. But no music. I think that was actually smart. In the time when everything's really dramatic, you have Arnold just talking to you,
Well, and the funny part is, he said to those Russian soldiers who are listening to this broadcast, there's no Russian soldiers listening to your broadcast. What are you talking about? Is this being broadcast on pirate television or something?
I thought Russia shut it all down.
Yeah, Russia would. This is not on social media in Russia. This is not. Nobody in Russia or probably even the Ukraine has access to this video. Well, I mean, I guess the Ukraine would, but
listen to this. According to the New York Times, Mr. Schwarzenegger's Twitter account at the time of his video post was among just 22 followed by the Russian president's account. So. And by the way,
maybe that's the problem. Maybe Putin just hasn't been told that it's wrong by his favorite celebrities.
How is Putin not banned from Twitter yet?
That's a great question. Yeah, how is Trump?
Yeah, how is Trump canceled before anything?
And is not banned from Twitter.
And how come no one's bringing it up? It feels like that would be the first thing to happen.
There should be Putin tweets in every single story. I did not know Putin was even on Twitter.
Maybe their whole justification is we want Putin to see what people are saying. Like we want him to be able to interact.
Sure.
I don't know.
Nobody's tagging Putin in anything. You'd think somebody would be tagging this guy.
True. Yeah. Well, anyway, so there's some of the stuff, the propaganda out there of truth tellers.
Do you want to do this next section now, or do we do it after Flippy?
Let me see. We got about 3.5 minutes. That's a tough decision because stuff after Flippy's kind of important too.
All right, let's just do it now. We'll do it real quick.
Here we go.
Let's talk about deepfakes.
Deepfake.
That's right. This is coming from Wired, which is awesome. A headline, a Zelensky deepfake was quickly defeated. The next one might not be. Yeah, so that's a thing now, Gonz. We must defeat individual deepfakes. Not debunk, not pre-bunk, not expose. No, we are defeating. We must slay the deepfakes. On March 2nd, the Ukraine government Center for Strategic Communication warned that its enemies might be preparing a deepfake video that appeared to show President Volodymyr Zelensky, which we have to call him Volodymyr now.
Volodymyr?
He's not Vladimir.
He's not Vlad, he's Vlad.
No, it's Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky announcing his surrender to Russia's invasion. On Wednesday, that warning appeared prescient. A fake video emerged on Facebook and YouTube in which a strangely motionless version of Zelensky asked Ukrainian troops to lay down their weapons in a voice different from his usual tone.
Probably
cool
because
deepfake.
it was fake, dude.
Like, oh, dude, it's not even. I mean, you can make really convincing
You
deep
didn't
fakes.
use
It was
good
like
technology.
a fake deep fake.
Yeah, use the Fiverr. You know, you gotta get into the actual software, man.
The clip was also posted to Telegram and Russian social network VKontakte.
Oh no! Wow.
Contact.
We're so sorry.
Contact. According to the U.S. think tank, the Atlantic Council.
Aha!
Love it. More from them later.
Love the Atlantic Council.
TV channel Ukraine 24 said hackers defaced its website with a still from the video and inserted a summary of fake news into a broadcast's scrolling chyron. Minutes after the TV station posted about the hack, Zelensky himself posted a fake Facebook video denying that he had asked Ukrainians to lay down their arms and calling the fake a childish provocation. And it goes on and on. But there you go. There was a deep fake, which I'm surprised it took this long. I mean, our producers can whip up a deep fake in like 5 minutes, and it took them 3 weeks to release this one.
Yeah,
cool.
Lloyd V can whip it up in like a half a morning, but it takes these guys.
He could make he could put your face on Zelensky's body.
Oh no, please don't. Don't do it. I don't need that kind of attention.
So the info war, the war for your mind, continues. And over here on Reuters, we've got another fun detail. This is Reuters.com. Let's see if my browser loads it. Yep. Fact check doctored video appears to show Putin announcing peace. Oh, so even Putin's getting deep faked. A video shared on Twitter appears to show Russian President Vladimir Putin declaring peace has been reached with Ukraine. However, it is a manipulated video that has been created using clips from an address delivered by Putin on February 21st, and a new audio track has replaced the original. In the video, Putin appears to say, quote, "We've managed to reach peace with Ukraine," and goes on to announce the restoration of independence of Crimea as a republic inside Ukraine. A tweet sharing the video with a caption in Ukrainian reads in translation, quote, "The president of the Russian Federation announced the surrender of Russia. Russian soldier, drop your weapons and go home while you're alive." The same Twitter user says in a following tweet that the video is not authentic. Oh, okay, cool.
What happens?
Debunked.
Thanks, Reuters. What happens when The Office comes out and says or releases their own deep fake? And has that already happened? Yeah, like the official government will start, because, for example, Biden, if he's, starting to really fall apart, do you think they would bust out deep fakes in the meantime?
I mean, some would argue that he's probably already done that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting.
We have no idea what is going on. We know that there are deep fakes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would not be surprising at all if either Putin or Zelensky made up their own deep fake of themselves, because it's a very effective tactic in the information war.
Yeah.
To be able to create a landscape where people can't trust anything they see. And if nothing else, maybe it's not supposed to have some sort of effect. Maybe it's supposed to be able to be debunked. Both of these deep.
Uh-oh. Basil cut out. You still there, buddy? Oh,
Did I cut out?
Yeah, you
Am I still there?
You had a little speed bump there. You're back.
Oh, but I am there now.
Yeah, you're there now.
I dropped my mute button, and it probably hit the button. Anywho, I mean, it's as likely that both Putin and or Zelensky are creating these deep fakes simply for the purpose, and they're not good deep fakes. They're bad deep fakes.
Yeah, it looks like government level. Government funded.
It's very suspicious.
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russia have some serious capabilities.
Oh, for sure.
And for them to come out with such a bad-looking deep fake,
that's the other,
screams information war.
Right,
making people doubt everything they see. Another like, don't believe your own eyes sort of propaganda piece.
Especially as the media picks it up. You always got to pay attention to why the media would pick up this deep fake as opposed to maybe others that are out there we don't even know about that are much, much better. So you never know.
So there you go. And it stands as a good warning for all of us. I mean, remember, so many of the videos that you're seeing could be fake, and very likely are fake.
Yeah.
We've been talking about deep fakes for, at least 5 or 6 years, back when they were sort of a fledgling thing. And that's been the warning ever since, was we are moving into a phase of media history where you seriously need to question literally every video that you see online, because it is just as likely that it's fake.
Yeah, and, including ours, by the way. You never know.
Including ours. This is a fake podcast.
You might be tuning into an AI version of us saying crazy things that we never said. So
you never know.
You never know.
So if I say anything crazy, it wasn't me, folks.
Just go ahead and use the AI as a scapegoat.
So anyways, there you go. It's very obvious that this was meant to be debunked and continue to confuse the info stream or whatever.
All right.
So, all right. Well, there you go. There's your lead stories for the day. A lot more coming up. But before that, Gonz, I do need to remind you that it is Friday.
It's Friday, It's Friday, It's Friday. It's Friday,
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing. Yeah, we can keep playing with the Friday thing, Gonz. And a little personal update for me. I don't know if, the discerning listeners out there will notice a couple things. Number one, I am on a new microphone today. It's not a brand new microphone, but I thought I'd try it out.
You have joined the party with the SMB, what is it, 41? What is it called?
Yeah, something like that.
SM7B, yeah, that's what it is. Yes,
right. That's
industry standard.
Industry standard. I've been on this. This is the mic that I use usually for my traveling rig. If I'm out on location, I'll use the Shure mic. I'm usually on a Slate, but I don't know why. I just felt like I wanted to try this one out because it's what you're on, and maybe it's. It feels like there's some warmer tones, a little deeper, some more the ASMR vibe.
Yeah. It's a tighter deep end. It's a dynamic mic, so it doesn't pick up all the room.
Problem is, I still can't get close enough to it to really take advantage of its capabilities because my VR helmet is too big. So that's fun.
You need to invent the microphone that you need to just invent your thing that is going to help you podcast. And so all VR people podcasting will go to your thing, your invention, and there you go. There's your exit strategy.
Sure. Yeah. What a great plan, Gonz. Invent a good thing and make money from it. That's a plan for all you kids out there. If you don't want to work your whole life, just simply invent a good thing and people will give you money for it. Yeah. All right. Anyways, was anything new with you?
No. And for the sake of time, I will sacrifice any personal complaints about life that I usually do here.
Well, okay.
Just kidding.
You're very brave.
Just kidding.
A courageous move, Gonz.
Well, I'm actually very excited because we do have some executive producers today, and I'm excited about that. So can we just do that?
Yeah. Well, I can take up your complaining time. Gabby, never mind. We're moving on. I have a fun project I'm working on.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're going to thank some of our executive producers for today's episode. The producers of the show are those just like you, dear listener, who have taken responsibility for their own media future, and not just theirs, but all of ours. We're on the value for value model, which keeps all corporate money out of our grubby little hands. Instead, we are entirely funded by producers of the show, and producers of the show are listeners who realize that the traditional advertising model, the monetization strategies of the past are not conducive to true independent media. Because if your independent media is taking corporate money, boom, they're not independent anymore. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. So we have producers. And even better, we have executive producers who we are going to thank now. Starting with executive producer Bev W.
Thank you, Bev.
Thank you very much, Bev W. Next up, we have executive producer James D.
James D. Ooh, James D.
Yeah. Yeah, that's him.
Yep.
And we have one last executive producer. That is Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Dame Lynn. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Dame Lynn. And we'll be thanking them again in our first break. But this is not that break. But thank you guys so much for being the executive producers of this episode 460 of Canary Cry News Talk. And to the rest of you, there's still time if you'd like to participate in the value for value model. It's really the only possible way that this show can continue in its current form. Advertisements, affiliate codes, male enhancement, vitality supplements, or whatever, is not conducive to a truly free, a spiritually free, and economically free independent media. When media properties take corporate money, they're suddenly beholden to corporations in ways that you might not even think of, specifically things as subtle as maintaining brand friendliness and things of that ilk. But not here. We're wild, baby. We're outlaws. The international courts have judged it to be so.
Oh, no. Don't give them any ideas.
So there you go. Thank you to our executive producers. You can go to CanaryCryRadio.com/support to support the show. And we can thank you in our break coming up in about 45 minutes.
I'm very thankful for the executive producers today. So I'll just play this now and then we'll do it again later.
Where'd you find this?
That's right. You guys are the best. Okay. Well, you know who also, I don't know, is the best at flipping burgers?
We go from executive producers and freeing your mind from corporate media to the robots.
To the robot takeover.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Well, Gonz, it's time for the Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and just how there's nothing we can do about it. Today, Gonz, it's a Flippy fiesta.
Ooh.
Because we're heading on over to TechCrunch.com, and the headline is Flippy. Meet Chippy, Chipotle's new tortilla chip cooking robot arm. I love that they are like calling out Flippy.
I know.
I don't think
as if he has a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, very good. And look, I'm very proud of the Canary Cry averse, the Canary Cry averse, for being early on the Flippy train. We have a complicated love-hate relationship with Flippy, but like I'm starting to kind of, I don't know, get when news articles, news outlets, they talk about Flippy, I'm like, hey, that's our guy, okay? You leave Flippy, go find your own robot to talk about. Flippy's ours. He loves us, okay?
I think Flippy proper has been in headlines and in news more recently. Yeah, definitely.
Right. This is in this phase in history has more official Flippy reporting than there has been since like 2015 or 16 when these people first came out.
If they're doing their research, these authors, if they're doing their research on Flippy, like word searches and whatever, they would probably come across our material from like 2017 or something.
You have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Flippy, meet Chippy. Oh, Chippy. Flippy's got another rival, folks. The lineup of rivals keep growing. From the company that gave you Flippy, the hamburger cooking robot arm, comes Chippy, which does the same for tortilla chips. Miso Robotics today announced that it has teamed with fast casual Mexican restaurant chain Chipotle to develop a system designed to deep fry and season chips. Not too much of a stretch, really, after Flippy 2 figured out how to make French fries for White Castle last year.
Oh, I like how they put that. They're building the mythology there, you know? It's very interesting. They're like, oh yeah, Flippy 2 was it'll go down in the history books as Flippy 2.
The whole Flippy family, you know. The new robot AI system is currently being tested at the chain's Cultivate Center food laboratory in Orange County.
Ooh, that's my neck of the woods. I should probably
stop
go
in, get some chips,
look for
get some chippies.
Yeah.
It expects to start testing Southern California restaurants at some point later this year, like the Flippy rollout before it. The Chippy maker will be using the testing period to determine what works and what doesn't for employees and customers alike. In addition to dipping the basket into a vat of hot oil, the system is also designed to season the chips with salt and lime juice.
Ooh.
Chipotle says a little chaos is a key to adding some humanity back into the system, which is hilarious. You don't they just took the humanity out of the system, and they're immediately trying to put some humanity back in. It's like, guys, choose your side. Pick your side already, Chipotle. Quote, everyone loves finding a chip with a little more salt or an extra hint of lime, said Niviel Panthaki, vice president of culinary at Chipotle. Quote, to ensure we didn't lose the humanity behind our culinary experience, we trained Flippy extensively. Chippy, sorry. We trained Chippy extensively to ensure the output mirrored our current product, delivering some subtle variations in flavor that our guests expect. Chippy joins Flippy and Miso's soft drink dispenser, Sippy. Oh my gosh. Can Tippy, the serving robot, or Trippy, a weed concierge robot, be far behind? TechCrunch, lay off my turf, man.
You need to contact, who is this? What was the author's name? There's a
TechCrunch.
Brian Heater.
Brian Heater. I know you're listening to this, Brian. Step off, bro.
Let's take a look at Brian.
Me and my gang of Roombas will come looking for you. So that's the part that I wanted to point out in a serious note, which is the purposeful chaos that they are adding. There's another headline over on Restaurant Business online.com, which the headline reads, Chipotle is testing a robot to make perfectly imperfect chips, and is focusing again on the chaos, adding a little chaos. Within the software of the robot is the mistake protocol.
Right.
Which is not the first time we've seen this.
Yeah, it's
this
like
is
a mistake slash randomizer.
Yes, it's a major part of the social engineering of the robots. And I say the robots, but I mean specifically in this case, Chippy. And there was, I forget the other one, but that's part of the goal, is to make these robots more human, and you must insert imperfections into the robot's protocols in order for people to enjoy it. I mean, and they're not wrong. I mean, the Chipotle chips, which of course are delicious, you love that one weird crunchy, semi-soggy chip that has way too much salt and way too much lime. Just reminds you that there's a human behind the counter just trying their best, man. Of course, now we need to get all humans out of the kitchen, but we need to trick our guests into thinking that some human made a mistake and made this delicious little flavor bomb.
It's very Wizard of Oz. It's like behind the curtain, you can't even tell if it's a human or a machine.
Yeah,
or at least that's what they're trying to go for. I mean,
it's at least using the same philosophy.
Yeah,
and so there you go. I mean, it is Miso, so it is an official brother. Chippy is in the Flippy family of products, so I guess we're cool with Chippy. It's like when you have like a good buddy and his little brother tags along, You're like, okay, all right, that's fine, but you're really just there to hang out with your friend.
Do we need a trademark like Clippy or something for our clip producers?
I think Microsoft might have a problem if we trademark Clippy.
Shoot, I forgot about the little annoying paper clip.
The worst of the robots meant to help us out. But again, the macro picture being, even though the robots are being introduced to perfect our systems and our products as a cheap alternative to human labor, we must put flies in the ointment as far as the programming goes in order to make them an acceptable substitute to a regularly inconsistent human. And such is the flavor of the dystopian robot future.
I wonder if as humans we would recognize the larger pattern, like we'll start to recognize like, hey, about
perfectly mathematically
about every 1,000 chips, you'll get that
you get
one
7 crazy chips per bag. This idea of programming the imperfection is a little scary when you start expanding that out to other robots. Think of like kill bots, when the
not a clean
police
cut, make it look more human, make it look like a struggle.
When our army of armed robot soldiers march into, I don't know, probably just some country whose oil we want, there's a little bit of friendly fire just programmed into the robots. One in every 1,000 shots fired by the robot are programmed to be friendly fire to take out one of their friends.
The other side of the argument is if you have a robot army that takes you out but then does all the stuff for you as like an honorable thing, cremates it, puts it in a box, cleans it up like a nice presentable, like, yes, we have taken over, but here is a nice memorial for you and your people.
Are we going to mourn the fallen bots?
No, the bots. Yeah, the bots will be doing all the work, as part of the takeover.
The bots will clean up afterwards.
Yeah, they'll clean up and they'll present to the losers of the battle there. The memorials.
Fallen soldiers.
Yeah,
that is so dark, Gonzo.
It is, but I mean that's what's happening with these robots. We talk about these robot takeovers enough, and you start conjuring things. Man,
part Roomba. They're part Killbot, part Roomba. They'll come clean up afterwards.
They'll come clean up. There you go.
Bury the dead.
Okay.
All right. Well, there's your Flippy update for the day. I don't know how we went from Chippy, the delightfully imperfect Chipotle bot, to the battle bots presenting their dead back to their families.
Only at a party. Go to CanaryCry.Party, put it in your browser.
Party time.
Find the live stream, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians and become a producer of the show.
Welcome to CanaryCry.Party. It's the place you wanna be. So stay. Welcome to CanaryCry. Gameplay, CanaryCry.Party.
That's right. Also, make sure to check out Ravel Podcast on Apple Podcasts and whatever other podcast platform you use. I forgot. I believe we have those episodes also auto uploading to our YouTube channel. We don't pay any attention to that YouTube channel, but for you YouTubers, I believe you can find Ravel Podcast there as well. We are just about to wrap up our Artists On series, and again, last Sunday we dropped the episode where I battle rapped one of the top 10 battle rappers in the universe. It is a must listen. Go check it out, Ravel Podcast. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. This is where shareable, bite-sized, delicious little morsels of the show are clipped out and presented one at a time. This is a great way to, go back, listen to certain segments of the show, also post them on social media or share them with your friends. if you are eager to get them into the information on the show, but are afraid that they will not appreciate some of the stranger elements. They'll get there eventually, but it's bait. Like Canary Cry Clips is like bait,
right,
for getting them into the real show.
Yeah, that's why we got a lot of them. You know, you get a lot to choose from.
Oh yeah, and we're putting out more videos over there all the time. There's tons of clips, and we got a ton more getting ready to post. So go check it out, Canary Cry Clips. You know, Gonz, just real quick to harken back to your sort of emo
dark psychology of robot
goth,
takeover,
your goth robot situation. Mm-hmm. You know, there are the robots that they have that run on burning organic matter. Mm-hmm. So Flippy, the killbots would have like their own crematoriums after war.
Oh, yeah. It'll be like fuel.
Remember that?
That's what I'm saying. They'll present it as honorable.
Yeah,
these are honorable robots.
Robots that if they run out of energy, they put little sticks in themselves and they burn the sticks and turn it into electricity. And just pump that up. And not only do you have killbots who can fry perfectly imperfect tortilla chips, but after they finish conquering a country, they can, fuel themselves. Oh gosh, this is getting darker. All right, we need to move on.
I'm telling you, man. There's no other scenario. I think a lot of authors have run into the same problem. They're like, well, let's just come up with the utopian vision of all this. And then in the end, they look back and they go, oh my gosh, this is a dystopia.
What have I done?
No matter how hard I try. Okay. So are you ready to move on, or are we?
I'm ready. Also, thank you, everybody, for the kind wishes on our 10th anniversary of podcasting. And
that was great.
I'm glad everybody is liking the new logo. It's I'm excited. I love seeing it now. I put it on our Twitter page, did the whole thing. It's cool. So thank you very much for your kind words.
Welcome to Chinese News! Our top news!
Straight from the AtlanticCouncil.org.
Yes.
China will define the next phase of the Russia-Ukraine war and the shifting world order. This is a very long article. I was hoping to kind of comb it beforehand. I didn't get a chance to really do that, but we can read through some of this to see what happens. Quote, there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen, said Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, better known as Soviet leader Vladimir Lenin, during his exile prior to the 1917 revolution. Today, though, the quote describes what Europeans and others in the world are experiencing, the abruptness of the change the world is witnessing, which happened quite literally overnight in conjunction with the violence in Ukraine relayed by the media, generates deep uneasiness and fear. How will this affect the rest of the world? Feels like they have accomplished their mission of instilling fear in the whole world.
Yeah, that was the point.
Beyond this question, we Europeans in particular must ask ourselves why the bombing of Mariupol has been so shocking when we watched unperturbed the atrocities Russian President Vladimir Putin committed in the Chechen capital Grozny in 1999 to 2000 and Aleppo, Syria in 2016. We look to history for an answer. There are events that act as catalysts for situations in suspension. They mark a before and an after, crystallizing the evolution. The Russian invasion of Ukraine seems to belong to that terrible category. We are entering times of collective unrest. Globalization, as we understand it, has ended. Interesting. Ooh. And international relations are already disconnected from what has come to be considered established practice. And all signs indicate that multilateralism will undergo a profound transformation. Although it was Putin who triggered this shift, it is China whose protagonism will be defining. That protagonism was on full display when U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met with Chinese diplomat Yang Jiechi on Monday. Without drawing attention away from Ukraine, it is of utmost importance to consider Chinese President Xi Jinping's strategies, specifically with regard to three areas of interest: the contortion of the Chinese Communist Party leadership in relation to its Westphalian foreign policy, the interplay between China's actions and its vision of an alternative international order, and and the alterations to the great economic political designs of Xi with his aspirations of lifelong service like his Russian friend. Ooh. Western intelligence maintains that Beijing had, at the very least, inklings of Putin's machinations of war, a fact which makes China's mixed messaging even more striking and denotes a turning point in its position on non-interference in the internal affairs of other sovereign nations. And it just goes on and on and on about all this stuff here. But I think they are sort of hinting at where this is all headed, which the China conversation with all the sanctions and everything else is way more consequential to especially the United States if things move in that direction, depending on what China does here.
Well, they're sort of. Oh, sorry. I turned off my video. I have a buzz I'm trying to fix here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear the buzz?
A little bit.
Yeah, I need to fix that. But yeah, in this time period, which we've talked about a couple of times over the past few weeks, where China really has become the pivoting point. I mean, everybody's sort of chosen a side. The international powers have voted. The international court has done their thing. The lines are clearly drawn.
Yeah.
And pretty much like the one country that has yet to be forced into a position is China. And they may be the most important country, depending what side of the conflict they take
sides, because it's interesting. It's like the West is like one big thing. I don't think we're considering Africa and who gets to build Africa. That's probably part of this battle here with the West and East.
Part of it.
Yeah, along with Antarctica, which we've been tracking too. But the shaping of the world economy, the supply chains, all that stuff will look different depending on which side China chooses to remain friendly with, I suppose.
Yeah. And again, I do not envy this position, and they don't like it either. It's really not a good position for them to be in, because before, Russia was sort of their biggest ally, their most powerful friend. Mm-hmm. At least in their common sort of hatred of the West, they have that very much in common. But after seeing the ramifications that have been brought upon Russia and just how debilitating that is for participating in the global economy, that's a very scary notion for China. Because whereas Russia, they got a lot of oil, they can it remains to be seen whether they can effectively isolate themselves or weather the storm of isolation, which they've done in the past. They've survived sanctions. They've at least tried valiantly to become more independent, not rely on a global network of trade, where China cannot do that. Without global trade, without access to the global, everything, China doesn't have a whole lot in the way of financial independence, which has worked really well for them. Globalization has arguably benefited China more than any other country in the world. I mean, even the U.S. I mean, we benefit from globalization in as much as we benefit from China, basically.
Yeah.
And so, China choosing the Russian side is not just dangerous for military reasons or whatever, but if China does that, then we have to sanction China, and that's bye-bye pretty much the American way of life.
Yeah. We're talking everybody has to reset. Right?
Yeah.
The West will be forced to reset everything. China will be forced.
I think the West is, that's the best way to put it. Not just America, but the West in general. If the same sanctions that went on Russia get placed on China, which they would dilly-dally and they would try to find some sneaky way to like make it not as bad, but still, as it stands now, if a tenth of the sanctions that are on Russia were put on China, it would really debilitate China, and in response, it would debilitate just the whole world,
the whole world,
but most of the West,
yeah.
So that's why we're really hoping. It's kind of like, please don't pull the trigger. Just please be cool, man, because I don't want to punish you because it's punishing me as well. Just make the right decision, China.
Yeah.
Which, conversely, or sort of not conversely, but sort of ironically, puts more power in China's hands than maybe has ever been there.
Yeah.
They can basically hold the whole world hostage just with indecision.
Well, that's
even
kind
with
of,
not taking a side.
That is perhaps their, like, geopolitically speaking, that is probably their best move, is to literally kind of hold both hostage, do their own kind of not hold them hostage, but just without clarity, right? Kicking the can down the road and just kind of letting it linger for a while until they get an opportunity to do something that's going to help them.
Find a way to profit from it.
And then pounce on that, whether it be from the West or from Russia, depending, who's better at setting up the new monetary foundation, the SDR, whatever. So it'll be interesting.
Because on the other hand, with Russia's sanctioned from SWIFT and other financial transaction, global financial transaction companies, they're cut off from so many things in so many different ways. But, China has their own versions of SWIFT.
Yeah.
China has,
they
an
have
alternative.
CBDC too, don't they?
Yeah, China has the alternative that Russia needs. And, the choice basically, I mean, I'm sure there's some sneaky geopolitical lizard person choices that are not occurring to me.
Right.
But, the choice is basically, team up with Russia, give Russia access to your market. And somehow you can kind of, be a money changer between the world and Russia, or don't, or stick with the current way things are working. And I don't know which way they'll go, or even which way would be better. It is kind of this weird Kobayashi Maru situation.
This is, I'm sure Klaus is just loving this. This is like a great opportunity.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. The great opportunity.
He's rubbing his paws together,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the meantime,
anyways, the Atlantic Council stepping in to have this conversation.
So we can't forget to mention the source of this knowledge, or this I guess offensive play from the West. Can we say it like that? I mean, they're sort of putting China on the spot here.
You mean with this article, or just in general?
Just in general. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously with the Time magazine also parroting this. It's interesting when you see something like the Atlantic Council publish this, and then see basically the exact same headline on Time.com, how China's response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine could upend the world order under politics and the Biden administration. So, just get a little example of how the media works there. But in the meantime here, Basil, we got UFOs, and we got Obama.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
That's right. You want to do this one?
Look.
Whoop.
Yes.
Connection.
Look.
Huh? There you are.
Look. Yeah, look, sorry, I'm trying to load this story. I'm on a weird internet today, and it is weird. Saying this is coming from Newsweek, and the headline is, Obama Library has jackpot UFO records, but they'll take a while to get. Okay. Saying he's absolutely floored by UFO records at the Obama Presidential Library. A researcher says it could still take 16 years to obtain.
Where's the guy who brought down the the CDC or what was it, the World Health Organization, from 70 years down to like a few months. We need the same guy in here to, speed up the process with the UFO records.
Well, who we do get is this. UFO researcher John Greenwald Jr. said that the Obama Presidential Library notified him that it has potentially tens of thousands of documents concerning past government programs studying extraterrestrial encounters. While the federal government has become less tight-lipped about UFOs in recent years, Greenwald's request shows challenges remain in shaking loose new information. Ooh. Okay, so, it's funny. This Obama Presidential Library is perhaps the most controversial presidential library that's ever been built. They had to, displace like thousands of people, to destroy like a forest to build it. And like there was huge
climate change.
Yeah, huge public backlash.
We're changing the climate.
And it's like this inner city library that nobody wanted. And there's all sorts of like corruption involved, but it's funny because this is kind of like, oh, see, aren't you glad that I made my library so you can write articles about UFOs? Greenwald heads the Black Vault, which uses the Freedom of Information Act to obtain declassified government documents that he posts online. In a blog posted to the Black Vault's website, Greenwald said he filed a FOIA request for records, communications, photos, and videos concerning several government programs on unidentified flying objects, or, quote, aerial phenomena. Greenwald says on March 10th, the library responded saying it has approximately 3,440 pages and 26,271 electronic files responsive to his request. Quote, jackpot, Greenwald said in a tweet Wednesday, adding, quote, if true, I'm absolutely floored the Obama Presidential Library has that. If true? What do you mean, if true? Do you think they're lying to you? That's a weird thing to say. I guess they could.
Yeah.
However, he said on Twitter that another letter from the library's staff, quote, took the wind right out of my sails of excitement. Okay. The letter said his request was be completed in approximately 16 years. Greenwald said he asked the library to arrange an on-site visit to review unclassified materials, to no avail. He's also reached out to members of Congress, calling the records, quote, of immense public interest that play, quote, a crucial role in understanding an issue now being explored heavily by the House and Senate. After being treated with derision for years, high-ranking government officials are now taking UFOs seriously. Florida Senator Marco Rubio said in an interview with Newsweek last year that UFOs could be a matter of national security. Quote, dozens of men and women we have entrusted with the defense of our country are telling us about encounters with unidentified aircraft and with capabilities we do not fully understand, Rubio said. Quote, we cannot allow the stigma of UFOs to keep us from seriously investigating these encounters. And then it goes into the Pentagon Papers last year.
Yep.
Yeah, let me see here. The 2022 National Defense Authorization Act, approved by Congress last year, contains a provision requested by Rubio, as well as Senator Kristen Gillibrand and Representative Ruben Gallego, that created an office dedicated to studying unidentified aerial phenomena. Yeah, okay. 16 years, Gonz. That's all we got to wait.
Yay, and then by then Obama will be shedding most of his human skin, and so it'll kind of be out in the open anyway, and then we'll be like, all right, well, we knew all along, but okay.
I wonder how it works when there's a new presidential library. How do they decide what files go where? What library gets what info?
I have no idea how that works.
You think Obama requested it?
Probably.
Maybe that's his whole thing. Maybe we don't even know this, but Obama's a huge UFO head, and it always has been.
Well, you know who else might be?
A shill for sure.
I have a little treat for you, Basil, because as I was putting together the whole Obama
Is this a
piece
10-year anniversary present?
Sure, yeah, a little late,
Thanks.
but yeah, okay, yeah, that works, I suppose.
Yeah.
As I was looking for a little audio clip of Obama doing the little talk about the UFOs to make that quick jingle, I ran into a video from about a year ago that had 600,000 views on it, and it's none other than your homeboy, Chris Shilzilla.
Oh my gosh, he got his 600,000 CNN bots to watch his video.
And he makes some bold claims in it. I have a clip of an audio clip to run it by you.
You know, I majored in watching the X-Files reruns in college. So, yeah, I guess you could say I'm something of an expert on UFOs.
No, there's my boy.
What do you think? You think we should consult with good old Shilzilla? He says he's an expert on UFOs based on his
he majored in X-Files.
X-Files reruns.
That doesn't surprise me because, as we've talked about before, Chris Shilzilla's writing style is primarily conspiratorial.
Yeah,
like
it is
he
interesting,
primarily conspiracy theorizes about Republicans and Trump.
Yeah, he makes it up for Trump. Yeah.
So I believe it.
There you go. I just wanted to give that to
There's no big news. He didn't tell a story about how
No. It's just he had done a video about the Obama thing about it was a few months ago where Obama came out and said like, oh yeah, I asked the question, where are the labs and all that kind of stuff. We covered it at the time. We don't need to revisit it now. But
I think Obama, I think there's so much hubbub about this library, and there was no other options. He couldn't find another place. He needed it in this place at this time because maybe he's found some sort of interdimensional fault line that is deep beneath the ground. Yes, and he built a library on top, but down in the
portal into the abyss. It has connected.
The sub-basement. There's a laboratory where his alien friends are working on.
He's unlocked the key to the abyss. Yeah, that makes sense. Obama.
That makes sense. I know. I should bring it up with Chris. Maybe Saliza.
Right?
Has some info on that.
Yeah, we should throw the whole idea of because a lot of people think that, and I'm not one of those people, but there are many people who believe Obama is the Antichrist. That he's lightning. Barack means lightning. Jesus says he saw Satan fall like lightning. There are all kinds of connections that people have made, which are fun to look at. But
and he rides bicycles with slacks. He rides bicycles and slacks, and if the Antichrist is born and out there now, he definitely rides his bicycle in slacks. There's just something wrong with that. There's something cosmically sort of diabolical about riding your bike in slacks.
Sure.
All right.
Well, there you go. That's okay. Obama. We'll keep it, I guess, an eye and ear. I don't know. Something on Obama.
Yeah.
See, brings up the UFO conversation during the Ukraine thing. Or I guess it's not him bringing it up, but still, it's interesting.
A lot
news
of
cycle.
UFO talk surrounding the Ukraine thing. Yeah. Maybe that was Obama and his new UFO just cruised on over to Ukraine and saved some farm folk.
Right. Maybe he's the one with the technology all along. So he's got to make it look like he's on the hunt because eventually he's got to tell everybody that he has the technology,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're getting into some end of show topics here. We'll have to save that for the third block. Right. But for now, let's go thank some producers.
Let's do that. Does that mean we're taking a break? Okay. Buttons. Here we go.
It's
nice.
break time! Come on, take a break.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. After the break, we've got all sorts of stories. We'll be catching up on COVID and more. But before that, we want to thank some of our producers. As I said before, our producers are people who see the world for what it is. They've put on the They Live sunglasses, and every advertisement is secretly a brainwashing communication device to build some sort of compliance and reliance on the corporate web of nasty little spiders who not only want to catch you in their web and keep you sedated so they can drain you of your life force via advertising and mind control and things like that, but they also want to crawl into your mind and use it to lay their eggs. And then there's more spiders that are born from there, and that makes you a walking, talking advertising machine. Indeed, so many of us have been raised to believe that, if a program has advertisements, then it's worth more. That the value of entertainment and news is derived from the large corporations being involved in advertising on it. And you know what? A lot of podcasts, a lot of independent media, they advertise, and you got to do what you got to do. But for us, the idea that we would participate in a global theology where human beings like you, dear listener, are not human beings with, souls and lives and fears and love and things like that, but you are simply a economic unit of measurement where they can, through big data, privacy concerns, big tech, all those things, build some sort of model of you and use that model to experiment on how they can subtly manipulate your psychology to get you to spend money on things, spend money that you don't have on things that you don't want for no reason. And yet we love it. We love it so much. But not here. We are raising the rebel fist against this sort of miasma of spiritual oppression that worms its way into our minds and controls our decisions. Literally, that's not part of the metaphor. It literally controls our decisions. But instead, we are under the understanding, folks, that you, as a listener, as a human being, have a right to decide the value of your own media. And we're grateful for that because when people realize that they have some personal responsibility for what kind of media survives into the future, what kind of media will be here tomorrow, do we want it to be supported and propped up by the monolithic monstrosity that is advertising and corporate interests, or do we really want decentralized independent media for the people, by the people, with no big sort of sinister master plans involved? Well, that's the kind of the way that we go. When you do advertising, you are incentivized by corporations to consider your listeners as some sort of commodity where we try to harvest as many listeners as we can so that we can get more money when we sell it to an advertising company. But that's not how we do it here, folks. It's the value for value model. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, then you have the opportunity to put some value back in. And people who do that are producers, just like the real world. That's the real deal, baby. Put it on your LinkedIn, put it on your resume, put it on your CV, whatever, because this is not your dad's independent media. I don't even know what that means, but it's not.
This isn't your father's independent media or your father's independent media.
That's right, baby. So, and that's why we want to thank some of our producers now. There's a couple ways you can produce the show. You can head to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
That's right. All sorts of fun ways to support the show over there. If you're a cool cryptocurrency person, you can support the show with your crypto. You'll see our public wallets down at the bottom of the page. You can also become a monthly producer of the show. If you want a nice set it and forget it, you want to commit to keeping the wheel of value going. We're very grateful for our monthly producers because it just builds some consistency and some reliability in our ability to continue doing the show on a month-to-month basis. But if commitment's not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And a new fun thing over there at CanaryCry.Radio.com/support, Gonz, is I put a form on there for those producers who want to get involved and help Canary Cry News Talk expand, grow, sustain, apply their skills and their interests to helping us out with, their time and their talent. You can go check that out. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and you'll see a nice little form. You can fill that out, and we'd love to talk to you about getting involved with the show. But for now, Gonz, who do we have to thank?
Well, we're going to start with some executive producers.
Executive producers.
Here we go.
And as we mentioned at the top, we got 3.
Yeah, wonderful day. And I think some of this is in response to our 10-year anniversary, which we are very grateful for. Thank you so much. So let's start out. As we mentioned, we have our executive producers, starting with Bev W.
Thank you, Bev.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, these are big round numbers.
Yeah.
Very generous, wonderful round numbers that we are so grateful for. And we would love to read these numbers, but just for anybody who hasn't produced before, just so you know, we always lean toward anonymity. So we usually don't read the numbers of the producership unless there's some sort of numerical code in there, some sort of funky number that makes us know, oh yes, they gave us this number, so we could read it out loud. Putting 77 cents or 33 cents or whatever you want. But Bev did come in for $1,000 at $1,007.77.
Wow.
So she got a pocket full of sevens in there. Thank you very much, Bev. That actually makes you an Insta Dame.
Wow.
So get at us, Bev. Insta Dame. You are invited to take a seat at the Canary Crow Round Table of Knights and Dames. And for those who don't know, the Canary Cry Round Table of Knights and Dames is a very special elite squadron of producers of the show who have helped the show out with $1,000 or more over time or all at once. And they are given an honorable position as a knight or a dame. So Bev, send us an email, or we'll send you an email. Somebody email somebody. We got to get a dame name for you that you would like to take.
Yeah.
But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I guess there's another email we got to send, right? Because James D is also an executive producer.
That's true. James came in. Let me get the exact number for James.
This is insanity.
It's great. It's wonderful. I mean, our 10-year anniversary show was great, and the support was fantastic. But, you got to remember that there's 99% of the people who listen to the show don't listen live.
Right.
And so they heard it, the day after. So that's where there's some of this response came. I'm having the darndest time tracking down this producership. Why is that?
That's a good question.
No, I would love to just make it so easy and fast and smooth. There it is. Yeah. Okay. There he is. Producer James D. Thank you so much. The nice round number there. So I'm not going to read the number, and y'all can just figure it out. What are you doing?
I did the thing, but it stopped. But I can do it again.
No.
For James D. Thank you.
Are you playing executive producer jingles for these folks?
Oh, yeah. We got to do it for each one, huh?
Where'd you find this?
That's for you, Bev. And this one's for you, James.
Where'd you find this?
James, send us an email, and thank you so much. And we do have one last here executive producer coming from Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Thank you, Dame Lynn.
Thank you very much, Dame Lynn. Got a note here, listening to podcast 100 plus fees to honor your 10th anniversary. I need the balance and humor you two bring to my life. Love you and God bless. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Thank you so much, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Yes, and $100 plus fees turns out to be $103.30. So it's kind of
justice.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much to all of our executive producers. We could not continue the show without all of our producers, and the executives are the ones who are taking a big load of responsibility to keep us going. So we appreciate that.
Damelin, this is for you.
Where'd you find this?
All right.
All right. That concludes our executive producers for today's show. But we got some more people to thank.
Do you want to mention the supply drop?
Yeah, might as well.
Supply drop.
That's right. We're getting ready to send out the Canary Cry Supply Drop, the very first one. And the Canary Cry Supply Drop is our thank you campaign for producers who sign up to support the show in the amount of $33.33 a month or more. And you can go to CanaryCry.Supply.com, where exclusive, never before seen, once in a lifetime manufactured Canary Cry goods will be sent to your door 4 times a year. And perhaps some digital assets available on a monthly basis. So if you want to jump in and get not just the Canary Cry Supply Drop delivery, but also get access to the Canary Cry digital assets, go sign up for the Supply Drop, CanaryCry.Supply.com.
Waiting for supply drop.
Just a side note on that, I'm working on the tutorial for our supply droppers to be able to receive their NFTs and hold it for themselves. Hold the digital asset in their own hands.
You know,
So,
that is
working on
also a huge value add to what you're doing, Gonz, because not only do the supply droppers get Canary Cry NFTs, but they will basically get a lesson, a NFT lesson from Gonz.
Yeah, just a little tutorial to get you guys set up with the wallet.
If you've never known, if you don't know how to do it, or even what it even entails, interacting with NFTs, Gonz is putting together a nice little tutorial for you, so you will learn how to do that. So that's cool.
Yep, and more info on that, especially supply droppers out there. Look for that information. But there you go. Cool. More producers to thank here, and we're going to start with a Little Winged One.
And Little Winged One is a big day for Little Winged One. Little Winged One, as she let us know, was so close to her damehood or knighthood. She sends in a note here: blessings, Canary fam, from Little Winged One. Keep the faith and continue to look up. But this does bring Little Winged One to the threshold to become a member of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. And so we will be knighting you during this show, at the end of this break, actually.
Nice. Okay, so we actually do have a knighting.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you, Little Winged One. Congratulations.
Indeed. Yes.
Next up, we have Ciara.
Ciara F. Thank you very much. Ciara comes in with $10.33 and a note. Love you guys. Love you guys. I missed out on making something for the 10-year anniversary. This is the wrong note. Sorry. Oh, no.
You read the wrong Ciara note?
No, I posted the wrong note. Here's the right note. Late anniversary payment. Congratulations on 10 years. Cannot name a better duo. Smiley face. I have been blessed by both of your ministries. A small reminder to send an email to RSVP for tomorrow's meetup in Washington.
Right.
3/19, yes.
3/19, that's tomorrow.
Big old meetup in Washington tomorrow. Send an email to ciaraloren93@gmail.com. You can find her email at CanaryCryMeetups.com. And big shout out to all Washington, Oregon, Montanan, whoever, Canadian Canarians who are going to the meetup. If you're not planning on going, listen to me now. Plan on going. Go. It's going to be awesome. Thank you, Ciara.
Thank you, Ciara. Next, we've got Sir JC, Knight of the Techno Squatch.
That's right. And Sir JC is on a streak.
No, wrong streak. There we go.
There we go. Get that banjo. 80 episodes in a row for Sir JC. We actually missed Sir JC last episode, but I checked it. So we're keeping his streak going. We just forgot to thank him, I think. He came in with 1001.
1001. Amen.
And 3333. Right, and he got a note here. Forgot to congratulate you guys on 10 years. Canary Cry has been such a monumental influence on my walk with Christ and my contribution to the church. I'm so appreciative of you both and what you have done to Rattle Cages. Rattle Cages jingle?
Well, we got this.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
That's right.
It's been a while since we played it during the show. We always played it at the end of the show.
Thank you very much, Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we've got LX Protocol V2.
That's right. LX Protocol V2 is on a streak. 8 episodes in a row. Thank you, LX Protocol V2. Coming in with pocket full of 7s plus fees and a note. Is there any way to still get a calendar? I would love one. Unfortunately, at this exact moment, there is not a way to get a calendar. So we may open it back up somehow, someday. But yes, the window for receiving calendars is closed.
Scarcity has kicked in.
There are no more to send. I apologize. That's why we do it the way we do, is because we have to print the exact number of people who want them. So we did the calendars from November through January. But, you know, if there's enough people who want one, we can think about doing another run. But there's always next year.
Yep. There you go. Thank you very much, LX Protocol V2. Next up, we have Melanie M.
Melanie M. coming in for 1111 plus fees. 1111. And no that's it. I didn't see a note.
Thank you, Melanie. Next, Jonathan F.
Jonathan F. Comes in for $11.20 and a note. Love you guys. I missed out on making something for the 10-year anniversary. Sad face. God bless and may the show last forever.
Forever.
Thank you.
Forever.
Thank you, Jonathan F.
Forever. Thank you, Jonathan F. Next up, we have Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes.
Sir Salmon's Night of the Fishes comes in for $11.11 and note. 11. Happy Friday, my dudes. Just got my Canary Cry calendar and couldn't be more excited. Although I did find out Mother's Day is on my birthday. Not feeling like sharing, but we'll see how I feel when the time comes. Many blessings from the fishes. Thank you, Sir Salmons.
Thank you, Sir Salmons. Yeah, mom comes first.
Yeah.
You just have to lay it down this year, and then maybe next year it's staggered again, and you'll have your day back. Thank you, Sir Salmons. Next up, we have Morv.
Morv is on a streak. That's right. 65 episodes in a row, 1111. And a note, happy Friday, brothers. I know it's said a lot, but I'm truly grateful for y'all and for this body of believers. Praise God for how he brings his children together in community with one another. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Grace and peace. Grace and peace, Morv.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Next up, we have, we must kneel before Sir Casey, the Shield Knight.
Yes. Sir Casey, the Shield Knight, is on a 131 episode streak.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
Coming in with 7s and fees. Thank you, Sir Casey.
Thank you, Sir Casey. Next up, I guess we should stay kneeled. Sir Scott's Night of Truth.
Sir Scott Night of Truth is on a 121 episode streak.
Yeah! Oh, yeah! Thank you so much.
coming in for a pocket full of sevens. And that concludes our list of producers who have supported the show in the amount of $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we have plenty who have come in under that amount, which we will thank right now, starting with Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Tribe of Judah, with a 66-episode streak. We've got Jackie Yu on a 38-episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
We got Runk Smash, 10-episode streak. We got Streak Sister Gail M, 97 episodes in a row.
Women rule!
Mm-hmm. Well,
sorry,
and other Gail's, other Streak Sister, Veronica D, for 97 episodes as well.
Women rule!
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, we got the good Doctor Who Dundat, 67 episodes in a row. Mm-hmm. And there you go. That's all of our producers for today's show. Thank you very much. And I think now it's time to night Little Winged One.
Ooh, very good. Okay. Well,
now,
yeah.
Just so it doesn't take anybody by surprise, Little Winged One likes the idea of being knighted instead of damed, so we will be facilitating that. But I did want to give an explanation of the dame thing. I think a lot of people are getting dames mixed up with damsels, because dames, that's not that is still it's
royalty.
It's a hardcore thing. I think people think of dames as like princesses or like someone to be rescued, which is not the case. Dames are the hardcore version of that, different from a damsel. But of course, if you want to be a lady knight, you can be a lady knight too. Whatever you want.
Okay. Well, grabbing the katana off of the bird logo here.
Okay, good. Give me that axe, you crazy canary. Okay, here we go. We want to call up Little Winged One. Please step forward to the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, where we have a seat for you. Thanks to your generous support in the amount of $1,000 or more, we are proud to pronounce you Lady Knight Little Wing. Please join us at the Canary Cry Roundtable, where we have the belt of truthful truthiness, breastplate of righteousness, custom fit Birkenstocks to carry forth the gospel of peace, the shield of ferocious faith, the helmet of substantiating salvation, the supernatural sword of the spirit, and of course, adorable samurai babies, infinitely cute kitties for cuddling. And if you're hungry, we have fancy feet, sweat food, carved Cosmo the crisp cow, and of course, fried wormicorns. Welcome to the Canary Cry Knights and Dames Roundtable, Lady Knight Little Wing. And the crowd goes wild. Where's the crowd? Crowd, come on, crowd. There they are. Thank you very much, Lady Knight Little Wing. And everybody out there in the chat and around the world, make sure to give a little thankful prayer for Lady Knight Little Wing for being such a faithful and generous producer of the show.
Oh, hey, put it away. Put it away.
Drop it.
No. Okay. Congratulations, Lady Knight. I like that, Lady Knight. That is kind of cool, though.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey,
like
she's at the round table. They get extra, sort of control over what happens around here. Okay. Now we did receive a package.
Right. Yes. Okay. Let me do that real quick. Oh, we should have done it during the thing. But...
Yes, but we're doing it now.
Okay.
This was a package from producer Gail M, who has the Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag, where she is keeping an eye out, taking submissions and nominations for very special members of the community to receive all sorts of fun and funky canary-themed things that Gail has procured. And once a week, she's doing this. And we got chosen for this week, Gonz, because of our our anniversary.
Cool.
So we're very grateful, and Gonz has opened the package.
Yes, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm glad I opened it prior to the show too, because Gail knows how to wrap some packages. Let me tell
master.
You, it was
Some
almost
might say
impossible.
she's a battle rapper.
Not even a knife was enough to open this thing. But so far I got these. I think these are. Is it a little salt and pepper thing with the little?
I don't know.
Like
I can't see it for some reason. I am unable to see. You might need to give me your video.
You know what's going to happen if
Skype.
I do that? Is whatever happens on on OBS, I will shrink. Something happens on OBS where the video card can't handle that.
Well, I don't want you to shrink, Gonz. So you'll have to just describe it for me in detail.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. So it's a couple of ceramic. I would say. I think it's ceramic. Yeah, maybe glass. I think it's ceramic though. It looks like salt and pepper little shakers for.
Cool.
Made out of bird shape.
And they're. Yeah, I'm assuming they're canaries. Gonz
canaries,
would be my guess. Yeah. Oh, I'm seeing them now. Ooh, those are cool.
Yeah. We got a I Love Canaries coffee mug.
Ooh.
It's very nice.
Fun.
Yep. We have a book, an old book by Hugh Lofting, titled Dr. Dolittle and the Green Canary.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Green Canary.
The Green Canary, yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Is it an old book? What's the published date on that sucker?
It's Puffin Books. There's a little penguin logo. There's your Nephilim penguin.
Oh, that's cute.
Published in 1951.
Ooh, that's an antique, baby.
I got to keep this away from the children.
Yeah.
And we got a box full of Fancy Feast Petites, seared salmon entree with spinach.
Ooh, delectable.
It's actually, I mean, I can go through all of them. I don't have to, but it's a different flavors for each one here.
Yeah, sure. You don't need to go through the flavors. Okay, so we know where those are getting shipped off to. I'll put on a very fancy white tablecloth for the Monties.
This is a gem. It looks like a children's book titled Cat and Canary.
Okay.
By Michael Foreman. Yeah, there's the thing. Here you go. Cat and Canary.
That is fun.
Very much in our milieu. It's like we time traveled and grabbed stuff after.
Love it.
I think there's another box of stuff. I think that's most of it. Oh, here's another book.
Most of it.
There's a lot of stuff in here. Mary Canary and the Worried Feeling by Rachel Vinciguerra.
Mary Canary and the Worried Feeling. That sounds like it will teach me a lot about sort of emotional health and emotional intelligence. How to know what I'm feeling.
Yeah, the greens,
which we all need.
The key is not helping.
I love that it's a green cover. Yeah, so it's blending in with your green screen.
And then lastly, Sing Canary Sing. Gates. Ingerlit Pearden. Looks like another children's book with canaries.
Got a
involved.
lot of reading material, Gonz. You can start brainwashing those children.
And a lot of wrapping and boxes and stuff. But
do you think your children are gonna love canaries or hate them when they grow up?
I don't know.
Like, I don't get it. My dad was obsessed with canaries all the time. I can't stand him.
No, what they'll say is, I think my dad was a commie. He's got a poster with himself as some kind of weird commie leader.
That's true. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Gail.
Thank you, Gail.
What a treat and what a treasure. And keep an ear out, folks, because we are announcing the receivers of Gail's Gratitude Grab Bag every week. And thank you for the wonderful gifts.
Thank you very much. And
okie dokie.
Thank you for all your patronage.
Indeed.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Wait. Halt. Halt it. Stop the jingle. There was one more thing in the package you forgot to show us.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. Remember?
No, I don't remember.
It's the hat, Gonz.
Oh,
Come
the
on.
hat. Oh, that's
Oh my
right.
gosh.
Okay. Hold on.
Just gotta spoon feed this guy everything.
Hey, you know, there are times when there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there are times when we start sentences and we don't know where they're gonna go.
Yeah. So I got this canary hat here.
Have you covered the screen? Oh yeah, okay.
I'm back.
There you go. I
on
see
full
it.
display. It's got the color scheme and everything.
That is fun.
Very good.
Is that a gradient, a blue to yellow gradient?
Yeah.
Love it.
It's well done. It's right on
Where
theme.
did Gail get this thing?
I don't know. It's as if she is conjuring them out of thin air.
She's got some sort of like canary detector that she brings to the thrift store.
Canary
or something.
dar.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go. I love it.
So I'll wear this the rest of the show today, and maybe in the future. It's actually very comfortable. It fits my head very perfectly. That's also very strange,
good.
Gail. How did you know the precise size of my skull?
Oh, I have a running tab, a public list of your exact dimensions at all times.
Oh, fun. Okay, can we?
Okay, let's do voice messages.
Okay.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message. Go to CanaryCryNewsTalk.com. Somewhere on the side of the page, you'll see a little green tab. Click on that and you can leave us a voice message. Gonz, who is leaving us messages today?
Oh, yeah, another one from Sam Elliott.
Oh, the
Sam
battle
Elliott
continues.
Here. Macho, I got some words for you. Got some scriptures. Job 16:3 says, "Shall windy words have an end, or what provokes you to answer?" Proverbs 10:19, "When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent." Now let's go back to transgression. One's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will have honor. Now, James 1:23, "One who hears the word of God but does not act accordingly is like one who looks at his face in the mirror and forgets what he looks like." You remember that snake, Macho? That Jake the Snake Roberts put around your neck? It bit you, didn't it? You didn't stomp on the head of that snake, now did you? You forgot that. Now, if you're a real man of God, you would have stepped on his head. I'm not a snake, but you're a fake, aren't you?
Some professional wrestling deep cuts there.
Yeah, thank you, Sam Elliott, for continuing the feud here.
Wow, love it. Okay, yeah, I it's fun because it sort of has devolved outside of really anything having to do with the original discussion between these two, and has turned into scriptural, just sort of character assassination.
Scripture rap.
Scripture battle. All right. Well, thank you for the call, Sam Elliott. I mean, I hope everything's okay over there.
Yeah. Getting worried about him. We also got one from Psalm 40.
Okay.
Hey, fellas. I just wanted to say congratulations with my own two lips. 10 years is a huge feat. Can either of you guys name any band that has kept all the original members for 10 years? Because I'm not sure I can think of one. Big deal. Congratulations. Amazing. Awesome. The first time I ever heard Basil's voice, it was on the CCR interview with Will from The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. And I remember I thought Basil was just the rudest person ever. Like, he took nothing seriously. There was nothing anyone could ever say to him that he would put any value into. And just his hubris was colossal. Kind of like a safe for work version of Howard Stern. But this was like 5 or 6 years ago, and Basil, you've absolutely grown me since then. I love you both as brothers in Christ and as informative truth seekers. Absolutely, you guys are amazing. And Gonz, I appreciate you sticking to your space skepticism. A topic like that in communities like ours gets looked down on, and I appreciate you sticking to your guns. And speaking of which, when will Ravel unravel some biblical cosmology scandals? I think that would be a good topic for you guys. God bless and Godspeed.
Biblical wow, loaded message. A lot of things there. I will say, thank you. Thank you for those words, the kind ones at least. I will correct you on something. No, I have not grown or humbled since that episode, though. So, but thank you very much. Not safe for work, Howard Stern. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that on my bio. That should help with the search engine optimization. Thank you very much, Psalm 40. What was the other question here?
I was looking up the number of years, like the longest band that have been together. And I don't know if this is accurate, though, because, it's always like, I don't know if they take into account original members. But Megadeth, 24 years, Black Sabbath, 27. I mean, can't
with
be
original members, though.
Yeah, but these definitely have not been together for that long. So I don't know. That's a good question.
We have no answer for you. What would be an example of a biblical cosmology? What was it? Scandal?
I don't know about. Well, maybe he had something specific in mind, but I
wish he would
have
mentioned something specific, because I would love to take requests. In fact, we constantly take requests over there. Send us an email about exactly what you're thinking. I feel attacked by him requesting this, but at risk of seeming like a safe for work Howard Stern, I will humbly request for an example. I would love to get into whatever he wants to get into. That's what we do, baby.
Flat earther had a child with a globe earther. Sounds like a scandal.
Yeah, we're probably not going to talk about flat Earth, but okay. Not because it's not worth talking about, but because that's not what the show's about. All right. And also, I don't have anything to add to flat Earth that somebody else hasn't said or can say better. All right. Any more messages? Thank you, Psalm 40. Okay. Wonderful. Well, I suppose we should say bye to the YouTubers and wake on up.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's happening? Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well. That's right. Too hot for YouTube. Get on out of here. Go find
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Okay. Go find another place to watch the show at CanaryCry.Party.
I love how
you couldn't let it happen, could you?
I think it was good. It's just kind of you adding to the whole experience with like a tirade in the background. Telling YouTubers. Anyway, we already clicked them off, so
good.
They're gone.
All right, let's wake up.
Okay.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
I'm having a really hard trouble with some throat frogs today.
Throat frogs are difficult.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Gonz is losing it. I know when you're loopy, Gonz, and you're loopy right now.
Yeah, okay. I'm ready for some COVID. Are you ready for some COVID?
Please.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. 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 Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19. Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Number one way. This is the Jerusalem Post. And actually, what I want to do here is compare some headlines because I don't think it's worth getting into all the nitty-gritty details of all this stuff. But Jerusalem Post, Fourth vaccine offers little protection against COVID-19. Study.
Surprise, surprise.
Interim results released show that the vaccine offers little to no protection against the virus when compared to 3 doses. The study published by the New England Journal of Medicine examines the efficacy of the fourth coronavirus vaccine from Pfizer and Moderna. The interim results released show that the vaccine offers little to no protection. Okay, so we got it. Meanwhile...
So they're saying, yes, so a fourth dose does basically nothing.
It does nothing, yeah. Meanwhile, in the New York Times... hold on, what happened? What happened here? Wait a minute. New York Times... Moderna asks for a second booster for all adults. That's what was supposed to be the headline, but it's not the headline. What happened to the headline?
No.
Here it is. No, that's not it. Wait. I think it scrolled. There it is. Moderna asks I think this is an ever-scrolling page here. Moderna
like a feed.
Yeah, Moderna asks the FDA for authorization for a second booster for all adults. And I want to point out, the manipulative,
which would be a fourth shot.
It's the fourth shot, but they say second booster to put into the, for anybody who's not really paying too much attention. It's like, oh, it's only the second shot, but really it's the fourth shot.
And also it won't mix up with the SEO.
With the SEO, fourth vaccine offers little protection coming out of Israel and a New England Journal of Medicine study. So this is their attempt to sort of get around that, I guess, but still push
that was a New England Journal of Medicine study? But the study was done in Israel? Or where was the study from?
Yeah, I think the data comes from Israel.
Has to be Israeli data, doesn't it? Yeah, okay.
So, yes, and then we got links to all of that, but it's just interesting to compare these things side by side. It's a good example of how you can get kind of your normie friends or family to be like, just look at this Jerusalem Post headline, read this New York Times headline, and then look at the research, the actual paper that's out there. What is it saying? It's just
more than anything, what it is what's so blatant about it? Like it doesn't even have to be about a conspiracy theory to microchip anybody. It doesn't have to be about whether the vaccine works or not. Like it isn't even. It shouldn't, and it has been for 2 years. But this is a lovely comparison because it's not even about some moral stance of the vaccine. It's the science shows a fourth dose doesn't work, and yet Moderna is asking to give everybody a fourth dose. And what everybody can agree on is the only reason why Moderna would do this is because they want to make money, because they are a profit-driven corporation. And we know this, and we know a lot more than this, but to your everyday normie who would have been sort of a militant pro-vaxxer or whatever, who would fight to the death for the idea that the vaccines work and everybody should be vaccinated, and there's it's a moral it's a moral decision. It's doing the right thing. It has nothing to do with profit motive. It's about saving the world and getting back to normal. No, you just put these side by side. Fourth dose doesn't work. Moderna still wants to give it to you. It's obvious that Moderna is simply doing it to make money. I mean, that's the only reason to do it, because somebody will take it. There's money set aside from your tax dollars to give to Moderna if they can get the fourth dose approved or whatever.
Right.
And so it's just a lovely little simple comparison that if you put those side by side for somebody in your life and they still hold their sort of militant Fauciism, then there's probably just nothing is going to do it.
Well, it's sometimes it's worth knowing, and we've talked about this before, but the idea of putting a rock in a shoe, just every once in a while, you put a rock in their shoe, and you don't have to go full blown crazy, but just point these things out, and eventually over time, they'll be like, okay, wait a minute, this is uncomfortable. What's going on? They'll have to look at it. is the point, and have to take a good look at it.
Yeah, and if you put it in your
hope.
text messages or an email, then they don't have to respond right away. They can kind of go back to it in the middle of the night when they can't sleep and they're tossing and turning, worried about the future. And if it's, in an email or in a text message, then they'll be drawn to it and can look at it whenever they want.
Right. This is I thought
Going
this
to
was
NBC
interesting.
here?
Yeah, go for that.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
NBCnews.com, the headline, Pfizer's COVID vaccine safe in people with prior myocarditis, study says.
Read the subheading too, because it's...
I was just going to say, that's a pretty weird thing to study. Like, yeah, we see it's giving people myocarditis, but what if they already have myocarditis? Is it safe then? The subtitle is, the findings of a small French study may be reassuring to those with histories of the heart condition who are reluctant to get vaccinated, experts said. A small French study. Like the type of study that would be presented during the pandemic and then would be torn apart by Fauci and Jen Psaki and the mainstream corporate news day in and day out, and would probably get actually pulled from a medical journal just because it's small and because it's French. Get this study out of here. But no, if it tells you, yeah, go ahead and get vaxxed if you already have myocarditis, then it's legit. It goes like this. The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine appears to be safe in people previously diagnosed with myocarditis, according to a small study presented Thursday at a European medical conference. The findings, experts say, what experts? Who says it? Should help reassure people who previously experienced myocarditis that COVID vaccination is safe. Myocarditis is an inflammatory heart condition with a number of causes, including viral and bacterial infections. The mRNA COVID vaccines from both Pfizer and Moderna have also been linked to a small but increased risk in the condition. The new study was presented virtually at the European Society of Cardiology Acute Cardiovascular Care Conference. It has not yet been published in a peer-reviewed journal, though it is undergoing peer review. Researchers from France studied 55 patients, most of them young men, who had been hospitalized with myocarditis within the last 5 years and were later inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine. Most of them, it's interesting how they specifically chose to study the same group that are the ones, most affected by myocarditis by the vaccine. Does that seem a little fishy to you?
So you're saying that it's the same pool of people. They're just kind of labeling it.
It seems like young men are the ones who are most warned about the COVID vaccine and myocarditis, right?
Right.
And so if you were going to make a tiny study to try to prove that it's safe, even if you already have myocarditis, you would choose the young men, the same group who's being told they should watch out. Right. I don't know. It's just weird. That's not how studies are supposed to be randomized. You're not supposed to have most of them young men. You're supposed to have, a broad demographic. And I mean, it's only 55 patients as well. So this is like a very smaller niche. Smaller than the smallest studies that would say something negative about the vaccine. The sort of vaccine skeptical studies, they would be like 1,000 people. And you'd hear news anchors and Bill Gates and whoever be like, it was only 1,000 people. It was a tiny study. It doesn't even count. And now they're just having 55 sort of hand-picked young men for the study and using it. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just not how it's supposed to be. Patients were contacted by the researchers by phone and asked if they had been vaccinated, with which vaccine, how many times, and whether they experienced any side effects. They found that none of the patients experienced myocarditis or any other serious adverse event after vaccination, suggesting that the Pfizer vaccine is not associated with a risk of recurrence in the condition. because the vast majority, that is 55 people.
Yeah.
I forget what the exact numbers are, but it's something like, 1 in 1,000, maybe it's 1 in 10,000 get, a myocarditis incident after getting vaccinated, which is a fairly high number for, considering it's millions and millions and millions of people. So to call 55 patients on the phone who didn't get myocarditis after the vaccine and say, "Oh yeah, that proves it's safe,"
but had myocarditis before, allegedly,
yes,
right?
Right, but even still, I mean, it's just like the number is so astronomically minuscule that this is some sort of like kabuki theater puppet show of a scientific study. Like, it is so far removed from a quality scientific study that it's almost a parody of science. And the fact that it's being presented to encourage kids who have already have myocarditis or have a risk of it to go get vaccinated because 55 French kids didn't get it is just so crazy to me. I can't even think of a better word. It is a complete abuse of the phrase "study shows," and it's very offensive to me right now.
This author here, Loveless Jr. He does drop some of the facts at the very bottom. Like the very last sentence of this article is both Pfizer's and Moderna's COVID vaccines have been linked to a slightly elevated risk of myocarditis, particularly in men ages 18 to 29 following their second dose. It's like,
they mentioned it at the top too. Yeah. They mentioned it in the opening.
Yeah, but it is, you're right. It is kind of weird to just niche it down to that and then just use such a small number to make a whole article out of it on CNBC or whatever, or NBC News. Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's going to probably kill more people.
It certainly could. It certainly could. I mean, it's just so ridiculous, especially considering the sort of new standards set forth by the scientific establishment, where 1,000 people in a study is too small. And now you just called 55 on the phone and you're using it as evidence to get more at-risk people, to put them even more at risk. I don't know. It's really the most sort of egregious thing COVID related that we've seen in a few weeks.
It's been a couple weeks since we've seen some real egregious stuff, but here we go. We're back. Yeah. They're back in the game. They're back in the hunt. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's another headline here I wanted to mention from the American Prospect. Title and subheading here. Time for another major vaccine push. Congressional Democrats are defunding vaccines long before the pandemic is over. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, so I don't want to read it. I just thought that was a fun headline and subheading. Democrats aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Unacceptable. Yeah, they're eating their own, kind of like Putin. They're cannibals.
I know, it's true. It is like it's a great line. Congressional Democrats are defunding vaccines. Like, what? What kind of weird sort of bizarro world have we fallen into? That congressional Democrats are defunding. Where's the outcry? Where's the marches? Where's the accusations of Nazism? What's going on here?
Well, yeah, it's all being shaken up, so we'll just have to keep track of.
What is prospect.org? The American Prospect.
Ideas, politics, and power.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow, they make their font way too tiny on this article, and whenever they write COVID, they do all caps, COVID. Mm-hmm. And so you scroll down this like single-spaced, tiny font, humongous article, and you just see in bold caps like 10 times per paragraph. COVID. Cool article. All right. Well, this is kind of a short segment we got here, but I guess we do need to kind of keep moving, huh?
Yeah, and we can we got some fun stuff on the other side of this break. So
okay, let's take a look at some art.
Okie dokie, it's time for another break.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
This is our second break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. At Canary Cry News Talk, we consider it a place for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage people to process it and express it through art, music, jingles, anything that makes you laugh or reference some of the crazy things going on in the world, and most of the time laugh because it's pretty absurd, all this nonsense. And,
it's important. It's important to laugh once in a while.
I think our producers do a great job of sort of summarizing the absurdity and just processing it. It's something that is important for people to do. But we're going to start off with the whoa.
You're
audio
right.
producers. Yes, I'm good. I just trying out new things, and it's always not helpful sometimes when I miss or forget to.
This is a real theater of the mind we've created for the audio listeners.
I know.
Ooh, whoa.
Audio production.
We have some audio productions to update everyone on. First up, Marty B came in with an updated Learbag jingle.
Cool.
22nd century Learbag man.
There we
Nice. Oh, it's nice. There's a lot more going on in there. I like it. Yes, and there's a note that came with this. Said, to Mr. Basil, it was loosely based on 21st century schizoid man. Yes, that is what I was reaching for, and I could not remember. The vocals were purposely distorted. You're getting old, man. Excuse me. It wasn't the distortion that was the problem, Marty B. They were too quiet. Gotta make them louder. But yes, I do like the distorted voice. Like it. And if Toxic Waste, that was the song we played of his after the show last episode. And if Toxic Waste is not show related, what is? It's also the coolest song you'll ever hear, if I don't say so myself, like Learbag always says. Okay. Yes, it was a very cool song. I enjoyed the song.
There's like a GMO kind of theme to it. Yeah.
It was good. It's a good song. And it was not show related is not the issue. But there is no issue. It's a great song. Thank you. To Mr. Gonz, you were right. I did it on Tascam 244 Porta Studio with TDK SAW tape. I was amazed that the tape has not gone bad after 32 years. Sure, it's not up to today's standard, but I would like to hear someone else's recording from that era. Thanks as always, Marty B, the lowly court musician.
Thank you very much.
You called it on the Tascam.
Yeah, I think I must have some tape somewhere that if I can find my 4-track, I can probably resurrect a couple of those recordings from back then, which is probably not too great, it's when I was a kid messing around. So
yeah, well, that's the fun of it, though. It's supposed to sound all weird and warped and old and not good. That's
metal.
I mean, I don't know what this idea.
Basil. I needed to hear the 4 tracks of guitar later sounded like.
I don't know what this idea is being communicated here. That I have a problem with distortion or weird sounding old tape. I love it.
You got problems with everybody, apparently.
Apparently, this is sort of a. Yeah, this is. I'm feeling very attacked this episode, but okay.
It's what keeps people coming back.
Apparently. Thank you very much, Marty B.
Thank you, Marty B. All right, we also we need to make right on Psalm 40 here. Thank you, Psalm 40. He sent in a note reminding us that he had sent in a track on Tuesday this week, and we totally it just must have slipped through for some reason.
A lot of things slipped on Wednesday's show.
On Wednesday, we were kind of in a rush too, so sorry about that. But the original note read as such: "Hey bros, hip hip hooray! 3 cheers for the greatest podcast ever! Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. You both really are doing great things. Shout out to Gail, since she shout out to me. I really appreciate your appreciation, Gail." All the glory goes to God. Today I share with you 1 Peter chapters 2 and 3. I call it endure. And as usual, we'll play a few seconds here, and then we'll play the full track at the end of the show during the music mix.
CanaryCry mixtape.
My beloved brothers, as exiles in a foreign land, I urge you to guard yourselves from the passions of the flesh. Keep your conduct honorable among the unbelievers, so that when they speak against you, they may see your works and glorify God. Be subject to every human institution for the sake of the Lord, whether it be to the...
Sounds good.
Love it. Yeah, and remember, you can catch all of Psalm 40 songs and the songs of Marty B and all of our other wonderful producers over at CanaryCryNewsTalk.com/mixtape. Go check it out. Whole playlist there. It's got 30-something songs on it.
30-something songs.
Oh, my gosh.
Like 33? It's actually more than 33.
Yeah, there's actually a couple jingles that snuck in there. So maybe if I get rid of the jingles, we can get it down to 33.
Okay. All right. Thank you for all the audio producers. We appreciate everything you guys do to contribute to the show. Now it is time to check out some art.
One art, please.
Let us start with Dame Allie.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
Mike Bell of Miso Robotics, a haiku. Not savior, but guide to robot New World Order. Ras, you'll be happy.
Ras Queen. And attached to this haiku, we have a beautiful portrait of, what is this fella's name?
Mike Bell.
Mike Bell.
Oh, come on, man. As the leading authority of the robot Flippy reporting of all the world, you need to be on top of these things. Mike Bell of Miso Robotics.
I do. It's true.
Mr. Buff Old Man.
I'm a fan of the product, not the, I'm not into heroizing CEOs like Steve Jobs or something, I'm not a CEO
you don't need to
worshiper.
Heroize him. You need to keep him, hold him accountable.
No,
because apparently
actually,
he's a lizard man.
I work for Mike. I'm a double agent where I claim to criticize robots and defend against the robot New World Order.
But you are half robot.
But specifically not talk about Mike Bell. Keep him out of the conversation or else my Flippy paycheck stops coming in. But yes, we've got a beautiful Dame Allie. Thank you very much. Beautiful portrait of Mike Bell of Miso Robotics here with some lizard eyes, of course. No other sort of diabolical robotic invasion could be led by anything other than a reptilian in a skin suit. But Flippy, Chippy, Sippy, and Trippy coming at you thanks to Mike Bell.
Thank you very much, Dame Allie. And Ebony Blaze for the haiku.
Indeed.
Sir Dove.
One art, please, from Dove.
And we got a note from Sir Dove. Peace. As the Wednesday wars wage on, I wanted to create a movie poster that could be a possible supply drop item in the future. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
This is great. Yes, we've got a movie poster in the style of Marvel's Captain America Civil War. We have CanaryCry Studios in the logo of the Marvel Studios. Civil War. Battle for Wednesday. And on the right-hand side, we've got Sam Elliott with his big old mustache, big white 10-gallon hat. And on the left, we've got Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy
Savage with his CCR hair bandana thing. Very cool. He's got his big fast glasses on. On the side, there's a golden
it's the
Canary and Crossbones, Canary Bonesman logo there. Then at the bottom it says, "It's always Wednesday, my dudes." Music by Lloyd V, directed by the 42s. That's fun. Let's see here. Can I get closer to this?
Co-executive producers Shield Labs and Scott Truth. Casting by Cool Runnings Jess. Art director Mr. Jag. Let's see what else we got.
Story by the Sentinel, screenplay by Dr. Who Done Dat, published by Isaac, production designer Lil Winged One, animation by Faye Liver. And wow, everybody got a hand on this one. That's good.
Really make it happen.
Yes, it's a certain sort of rite of passage when you make it onto a Canary Cry movie poster.
I like the restricted symbol here in small print. Not suitable for man or beast.
Dovey Stereo. Thank you very much, Dove. Beautifully done. And yes, perhaps a package of movie posters will need to make it into a supply drop soon.
Yep. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. And moving on here, this is a make good because we forgot.
Yeah.
We dropped.
Let me zoom through this one, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
This comes from Green Pastures, who sent this in, I think for Monday's episode, and it, for some reason, just slipped through twice, but is a Lego creation. And so let me read this. I've been wanting to share this CCNT-inspired Lego creation I built whilst listening to a past Canary Cry episode and playing Legos with my boy. Hope my little contribution can be used as a producership. Oh, of course. Yeah, here it is. Backstory. Oh, we got a backstory. This is going to get whimsical now, guys. So strap in for a ride on the silliness that's Gonz to see. Gonz to see. Silliness that Gonz to see. Below, way down below, in the depths of this electronic mail, you'll find the first attempt at rendering an important piece of metaphorical metamorphosis puzzle, perpetuating the much anticipated and oh so dystopian but also dearly beloved Canaryverse, whose existence is held for now in the hearts and minds of many a Canarian, and also temporarily inhabiting the hollowed run on sentences, which constitute this outrageous and otherwise otherworldly narrative. What you will find thusly might be just the catalyst to creative juiciness, such that formulations of many Canary Cry lore Lego creations must surely follow along in perpetuity. How the gates to the Canary Cry community remnant of the future was imagined. Actually, it just unfolded during a trance-like state of flow with no purposeful intention. It manifested in Lego formation quite spontaneously, bypassing the brain, which was preoccupied by intangible content being absorbed, with two epic proclaimers of the truth hosting the show. Out of the collective Canarian consciousness, the intangible has become tangible. Dun, 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 dun. And now, the entry point into the parallel dimension where the Canary Cry commune will thrive. Maybe in a Middle Earth of sorts. If you look closely, you will see both Basil and Gonz are imaged in legendary guardianship over the portal. It may be tiny, but its meaning is mighty. Hope you agree. Wow, that really was something. Thank you very much, Green Pastures. And yes, we got a picture of the little Lego sort of interdimensional portal here. And yes, it's certainly something created out of the sort of podcasts influenced ramblings of a madman put into Lego form. So we've got googly eyes and a sort of moat surrounding a purple and pink glowing sort of path staircase up to a door that is sidled with a cyborg skull and some spider webs. I'm assuming those are webs of lies that are trying to hinder the entrance into the Canaryverse. We've got a Flippy off to the right, a little Flippy on wheels with one big googly eye on it and a stack of lights and beeps and boops. Up top there, we've got two big googly eyes attached to some sort of long banana-type structure, keeping watch over the portal. And up above, we've got the samurai helmet striding atop of a flagpole for all to see from all around. Yes, this is quite the sort of esoteric, occult representation of what some sort of portal into an alternate Canaryverse might look like. If it was sort of described in the dusty tomes of some grimoire hidden beneath the Vatican. This is pretty much spot on what it would look like. So thank you very much, Green Pastures.
Thank you, Green Pastures. Yeah, this is definitely worth it.
Worth it.
Worth all the time to put into
worth reading the note. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying the effort put into this, all the just the details. It's all about the details.
If you're playing Legos with your kids, you might as well create some sort of I don't know, stream of consciousness Lego creation for the show.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see. We got some microfiction here, or a microfiction.
Microfiction. Microfiction.
Gonz continues to struggle with the memories of Grimwald, and weakly holds on to Basil's shoulder as they ascend past a maple leaf emblazoned grasper. They reach the surface to hear a shout of, "Like a fast food shaman, the captain's guided him back." We've made it. We made it back to the surface.
All right.
Yes. Thank you very much, Runk Smash.
Thank you, Runk Smash.
Okay. That is it. Time to wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Let's wake up and do some... What are we doing? Elon stuff?
Elon Cyborg.
Elon Cyborg. Oh, what do I have for that? Let's see.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
You are connected, Basil.
Thank you, Elon.
This is from gizmodo.com.au, Australia. 13% of people think Elon Musk's Singularity brain chip will be good for society. 13, interesting number, but also it'll be interesting to track over the years, Lord willing, Basil, like how this number grows, because the alien conversation grew, and now I think in like the UK a couple years ago we had a report about over 50% of people in the UK believe in aliens or the existence of aliens or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 60 in the US.
Yeah. And the US followed closely a couple or maybe a year later or something like that. But this is a whole other topic that's similar in that regard. But let's see what it says here. Elon Musk believes humans will one day use implantable brain-computer interfaces to achieve a symbiosis between humans and artificial intelligence, preferably his. 6 years out from founding his company Neuralink, it's only been 6 years. New polling suggests the public still has little interest in this futuristic possibility. Overwhelmingly, respondents seemed more likely to view the prospect of implantable chips as closer to a dystopia. We're winning, Basil. We're winning the war.
Yeah, all of our complaining is not for naught.
It seems like people agree with us that it's not a good idea to go in this direction.
Yeah.
An overwhelming majority, 78% of U.S. adults surveyed in a Pew Research report shared with Gizmodo said they would not personally want an IQ-enhancing brain chip implant even if they were available. Just 13% of these respondents said they thought these types of implants espoused by Musk and others seemed like a good idea for society at large. A much larger share, 56%, believe that tech will be bad for society. Gizmodo reached out to Neuralink for comment, but has not heard back. You got something to say on that real quick?
I was just going to say, this is not good. This is not good for Elon and his investors.
Over half, 57%, worried the widespread use of these types of brain interfaces could potentially widen the already gaping distance between high and low income Americans. And even if these cyberpunk-esque features do eventually make their way to market, only slightly less than a quarter of respondents think all that new processing power will actually improve human decision-making. These respondents were specifically asked about brain implants used to potentially process information more quickly and efficiently. Faster, it seems, isn't always better. Though few Americans surveyed seemed willing to go to bat for cognitive enhancing brain chips at the societal level, there are some circumstances where individuals say they'd be more willing to use one themselves. Around 60% of respondents, for instance, said they'd be comfortable if they could turn the effects of the chip on and off. See, it's about control.
Yes, of
all
course.
about control. Meanwhile, 53% said they'd be comfortable with a BCI if it didn't require surgery. Respondents viewed other types of brain chip technology like that used to address medical problems quite differently. A large majority of respondents, 77%, said they would support brain implants when used in medical applications like increasing movement for paralyzed people. By the same token, the respondents also want to see higher scrutiny around the technology. 83% thought testing of implanted computer chips used to enhance mental cognition should be subject higher standards than current medical devices. I agree with that. It goes on here a little bit more. It talks about Matt Damon and Elysian, stuff like that. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, the social justice aspect of it.
Right. Further down the line, Neuralink hopes its technology could also treat a wide range of neurological disorders and potentially restore some sensory function to patients. Though the company has yet to receive FDA approval, recent reports suggest it's gearing up for the possibility of human clinical trials. We've been tracking that, so nothing new there. And actually nothing new for the rest of the story here. But, yeah.
We know all of this. It is interesting because I'm actually trying to find the poll because there's a weird sentence in there that I found kind of sussy. And it says here, adults surveyed in a Pew Research report shared with Gizmodo. So is it not available? Like the Pew Research report, is it available to everybody? Is it just available to Gizmodo? I did a little search here, and everybody wrote an article about this, but I cannot find a link to the actual poll or the research report, because it kind of feels a little bit like an attack on Elon, seeing as how, he's kind of not necessarily in the good graces of anybody.
He's messing up the Ukraine thing. He's
messing up the Ukraine thing.
Fully.
He's stoking skepticism of vaccination, of just general sort of tyrannical control, if not vaccination proper. And again, when it comes into these studies and these polls and things, you want to be able to look at the info yourself. And I cannot find an actual link to the report. I don't know why Pew would want to do this, or maybe one of their clients want to do this or something.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's like a little outside of the public conversation. And this is an extremely low number of appreciation for Elon's hard work.
Well, it might be, it could be putting pressure on Elon in a public way. Just, hey, you gotta do better. We've given you the power. The dragon has given you power to influence in space travel. What else? Cars, electric, the future of energy for the whole world. You're lacking in this brain implant area, Elon. You must pick up the pace. You must do a little better. So maybe that's the signaling going on.
It could be it.
But in the meantime, he's been tweeting. Elon loves his Twitter.
Sure.
This is Bloomberg. Elon Musk challenges Vladimir Putin to single combat for Ukraine. Do you agree to fight this? He asked in Russian. Billionaire Elon Musk has challenged Russian President Vladimir Putin to single combat, with the stakes being Ukraine. With Mr. Putin's name written.
He's trying to do a robot jocks.
I know.
He's trying to do a robot jocks with Putin.
I know.
If anybody could go down in history as the first bot, bot-on-bot single combat for territorial control, it would be Putin and Elon. I can't think of a better matchup.
Would they directly control the robots?
Yeah, they'd be inside the robot.
Oh man,
there's no drama if they're not inside the robot.
Please make this happen.
I mean, seriously, can you think of any other two crazed individuals
that
you would rather see battle?
Bezos would crash the party with his little, because he's been in. No, but he's been seen in those robot.
It's true, but I think your word "crashed" is perfect, actually, because he wouldn't be welcome.
No, he wouldn't be welcome.
Nobody wants him there.
He would come in.
He's just jealous that Elon is getting the attention.
Right.
So he would show up in his own bot, uninvited, and like storm into the battle zone.
We'd have a Royal Rumble.
And like try to get involved, but nobody would want him there. But he would complain, and the government would give him another contract for it. Either that, or the better movie would be Bezos comes in at the very end, like Putin is about to smash Elon. He's got him on the ground. He's got his boot on his neck. Elon is just about to pass out. And then Bezos comes crashing in with a giant robot in the shape of something inappropriate, And again, nobody really wants him there. And there's kind of a rivalry between Elon and Bezos before, but Bezos saves Elon sort of clumsily. And then, there's like redemption to that part of the story,
What happens to Putin?
He doesn't die, but he gets sort of embarrassed, like something embarrassing happens.
Worse.
Yeah, like Bezos and Elon, they gang up on him. They crush his robot, and then Putin kind of like falls out, and he's like just in his underwear or something, and then is like embarrassed and sort of scuttles off.
Runs away.
Scuttles off, but then it like bumps into like a crowd, like a Zelensky
protesting.
Bumps into a squad of Ukrainian soldiers, and they sort of handcuff him in his underpants.
This is like the end of a movie, the bad guy losing.
Well, that is explicitly what I'm trying to
That's
do.
What you're going for.
Tell you how the movie goes. Yeah, that would be the Hollywood version of how that would go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to see it happen. I want to see these nations go to bot wars.
It's really unfair that Elon would even tease us with that idea. Sometimes people they'll put ideas in your head that will never happen, and it's really sort of cruel what Elon has done to us here.
Speaking of ideas,
speaking of cruelty,
it's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first.
It's a snowstorm.
Antarctica.
Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
What does Antarctica have to do with anything, you may be asking yourselves repeatedly, episode after episode, as we continue to obsess over the white desert? Well, express.co.uk has a headline, Antarctica horror. Ukrainian scientists. Ooh, relevant. Ukrainian scientists left stranded after Putin wipes out hometown.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. The Ukrainian-Russian conflict is affecting the Antarctic scientists. Kharkiv, the second biggest city in Ukraine, has been completely battered by Russia's invasion. Airstrikes have caused carnage in the city, which is just 25 miles from the Russian border. With wrecked buildings and rubble strewn across streets, Russian troops have not held back, with strikes hitting everything from schools and shops to a cathedral. It is perhaps no surprise, then, that Jan Bakhmat, a geophysicist working at Ukraine's only research facility in Antarctica, cannot return to his home city.
I wonder if that's funded by the U.S.
A displaced, homeless Antarctic scientist. Remember, these Antarctic scientists are pitiful and weak and to be pitied, but even more so when their homeland is under attack by a crazy man in a giant robot suit. He is one of 12 residents at the Vernadsky Station in Antarctica, which was originally set up by the British but transferred to Ukraine in 1996. Ukrainian scientists and support staff turn up at the research base every year to study climate change and the impact it has on animals and plants.
Animals, period.
Yeah.
And plants.
Animals. And plants. Mr. Bakhmat, who specializes in measuring the Earth's magnetic field, told The Guardian, quote, "It's impossible to describe. You can only live through it when you are thousands of kilometers away from everything and everyone you know and love, when you can't influence anything." Oh my gosh, the Antarctic influencer booze cruise can go save him.
I think this is what they're setting up. They're setting up a rescue.
A rescue plan.
Yeah. This
oh
is
my
very
gosh.
Dramatic.
We're putting it on the record. That is what's going to happen, right?
Interesting. It could be, yeah. The booze cruise gets there. They go on an impromptu mission to save the stranded Ukrainian scientists in Antarctica.
Yeah, what a better PR opportunity, because they heard me making fun of it, where it is simply a booze cruise for influencers to go talk about climate change. And the one thing that could save this expedition is if they changed course to rescue Ukrainian Antarctic scientists because they're stranded. I mean, it's perfect. If they don't do it, they're dummies and they're missing out. It continues like this. The pain is also felt by his colleague, Arnold, an anesthesiologist and emergency medicine physician from Poltava in central Ukraine. Well, why do they need an anesthesiologist in Antarctica?
I don't know.
Wow, the plot thickens.
The injections or something.
Yes,
experiments.
The alien surgeries. You know,
yeah, they gotta numb some limbs.
He said, "Quote: It's really agonizing to be here, unable to fight the occupation of my homeland. For some, it is close to unbearable. Sometimes the stress is so strong, I need to assist my colleagues with drugs to normalize the blood pressure or insomnia." Wow. Mr. Kitri is the expedition doctor and so is tasked with monitoring the physiological and mental condition of the members of his team. The temperature at Verdansk is reported close to 0 Celsius with March towards the end of Antarctica's summer. More Ukrainians are scheduled to join the team, too, after a research vessel dubbed Nusfera left the port of Odessa for the Antarctic in the end of January. New members were also set to join up, but some researchers due for upcoming expeditions have got trapped in Ukraine amid the war. They would have joined the 26th Ukrainian expedition to the base in Antarctica. A press officer at Ukraine's National Antarctic Scientific Center said, quote, "Some of the team is locked in Kiev and some of the team is locked in Kharkiv." Almost done. But when the team at Verdansk Station will be able to return to their home country remains to be seen. Earlier this month, the current team at Verdansk Station recorded a video message addressed to their fellow countrymen. They said, quote, "Our hearts are filled with pain from what's happening to our homeland. Quote, unfortunately, we can't join the soldiers, the territorial defense, and volunteers now, but we are doing everything we can to help our country." No word on what exactly that is down there, but perhaps there is something. Wow. That is pretty heavy, though. You spend your whole life going to school and becoming some sort of, scientist with the credentials to be one of the very few to go down. I mean, the Ukraine is already like a strangely small country to have an Antarctic base. And, so it means a lot to get to the point where you get to go down there. And it's a very small group. And then to leave, be on a 3-month boat trip, and then to be sequestered alone in Antarctica with a bunch of other weird Antarctic scientists and know that your homeland is just gone. Like nothing will ever be the same. And there's nothing you can do about it. Is pretty heavy. Quite the emotional story. But another example of how Antarctica seems to continually be put at the center of the most important things going on in the world, Gonz.
Yeah, and the mention at the end of New Sfera. The Ukrainians are scheduled to join a team two after research vessel dubbed New Sfera left the port of Odessa for the Antarctic at the end of January. We reported on New Sfera because it's a Spanish word for noosphere that Teilhard de Chardin talked about, the global mind. Yeah, that we're all going to be connected into this new organism that is rising as humanity connects through the internet and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so and isn't it interesting that the Ukraine crisis has sort of connected the world, not just like individuals who are all concerned about Ukraine, but global powers reuniting and solidifying in the sort of geopolitical hive mind over Ukraine, and the Ukrainian boat to Antarctica, the hive mind boat, Ukrainian hive mind boat going to Antarctica, again, making it sort of the center of the hive mind. It is really too much. Like, if you wrote it in a novel or a movie or something, it would almost be cheesy, but it's incredible.
Antarctica must be one of the big nodes of the final global brain, or flat Earth brain, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the anesthesiologist has to go down there, because it's too, you're down there, you're too connected to the hive mind.
True. Maybe.
And he has to put people under anesthesia just to
get him off the
stay sane.
Oh my gosh. What if that? Oh, wow. That is
it's heavy, bro.
Deep plot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would make sense as you get people being experimented on to connect to the global hive mind. You're going to get people going crazy.
Yeah.
So,
That's, wow. I mean, I don't even know how to articulate the complexity of this connection fully, but I'm trusting the listeners are feeling the grandeur of just how bizarre Antarctica and its sort of focal point of the world is, and has been developing for a few months now.
I think we can leave it to Kronk.
It's all coming together.
It is all coming together. It's very strange. And with that, Gonz, you know what else is strange?
What?
It's time for us to end the show. Can you even imagine it?
Sure. It's super strange, though. Yeah.
It's weird, man. Thanks for listening to this episode, everybody. We will be back on March 21st on Monday. Yes, March 20. Time keeps on ticking. So we want to remind you that you can become a producer for that episode. And there's lots of ways to become a producer. Your time, your talent.
I like the little Luigi Italian that came out. You don't have any. I don't think you're Italian, right? You don't have any Italian blood.
No. It's just I was connected to the Luigi hive
Mario
mind.
Days. Yeah,
he was speaking through me. Yes, there's lots of ways to produce the show with your time, treasure, and talent. But I do want to thank a couple of very specific producers. These are producers who help out with our back end stuff, which is very important. They make it possible for us to do lots of the things that we do outside of strictly the show. And it helps put the content to use after the live broadcast. Let's start with thanking our Clippies.
Flippy. Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Clippies. They clip our videos for the Canary Cry Clips channel, which you should go subscribe to. And thank you to Emsworth, Faylivern, and Epsilon for all your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Next, let's thank the Timestampers.
Timestamp. Shoot. Thought I had this ready to go. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Timestamp. It's hard work. Timestamp.
Wednesday's show was timestamped by Jade Bouncerson. Thank you very much, Jade Bouncerson.
Thank you, Jade.
Go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
If you go over to CanaryCry.Meetups.com, you'll see all the Canary Cry meetups happening. We got meetups. This Saturday is the Washington meetup. Yes, go check out the info for that. And if you can, I would highly recommend showing up to that. You can email Ciara for more details. We also have a couple of Zoom meetups. We've got the People Zoom meetup happening tomorrow as well. They'll be Zooming into the Washington meetup. You can also get on the EU meetup, the EU Zoom meetup with Mr. Jag. I believe that is happening tomorrow as well. Am I wrong?
I think you're right.
I think I'm right. So go check out all the information and how to join up with those at CanaryCry.Meetups.com. But there's also meetups going on in San Diego and East Texas and Pennsylvania and. So go to CanaryCry.Meetups.com. You'll see all the meetups there. Get in contact with the host and go to the meetups. It's important for your health. It's important for your future. Go find people just like you. You've all got the same sort of basic. You got something to talk about. You got to at least, if look, a lot of people are sort of uncomfortable socially, especially now after the pandemic. But you don't need to worry because if anybody tries to talk to you, just start talking about Antarctica and the noosphere and the anesthesiology. Like, you have so much to talk about. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
CanaryCry.Meetups.com. We'll see you at the meetup.
This is fun.
That's right. I got some reviews to read here. And thank you to everybody who left ratings and reviews. The reviews system is really annoying because there's always a lag. And so I'll get all upset on Monday that I haven't seen any reviews. And then the system catches up and we've got some reviews. So that's awesome. I'm very happy about it. In fact, Gonz, we hit our goal. We got 5 or more. So I'm going to go ooh woo, baby.
Leave a rating and review, and Basil will
ooh whoop. That's right. We got quite a few, so I'm going to just jump right into it, and more ooh-woos later. First, coming from Overcomer Through Christ, coming from the United States, 5 stars. It's worth your time. That's great. Thank you. Okay. In Gonz's grumpy uncle's voice, I make time in busy life to bring honor to CCNT family. These dearest brothers in Christ have a mastery in presenting what would be depressing and fear-inducing current and past events with a delicious blend of uproarious humor and appropriately interjected cynicism, all through the lens of biblical prophecy and worldview. Other than Basil's Ravel, which is a fantastic, by the way, check it out. Ooh, thank you. Do it. This is the only podcast I listen to faithfully and is worthy of my precious available time. Ooh. I laugh and gain joy from each and every show by the delightfully uncomfortable brotherly banter and through the gifts of incredibly talented content producers of artwork, music, jingles, and microfictions. Seriously amazing. Since we are voting, I love the OG. It is WND's jingle, the best. Oh, we got an OG jingle.
Yeah,
OG
who's
Wednesday
jingle.
Who's
keeping score?
Who's keeping track? Yes, we'll let the voting
Sam
machines.
Elliott and Macho Man are going off.
Yeah,
on their own,
the election. The Wednesday jingle election is rigged. And my only suggestion / request would be to please shorten the banjo "We're going streaking" jingle. It's truly painful to listen to after the first 5 seconds or so in first round of woos. And this would cumulatively shorten the Treasure Producers Break marathon to a more user-friendly length, I'm thinking. Thanks, Basil and Gonz, for both your faithful walks and sharing your time and talents with us. Shout out to my San Antonio meetup, Texas peeps. Love y'all. Thank you very much, Overcomer Through Christ. Thank you.
Yeah,
we could stand to shorten that jingle.
Yeah, I've been kind of playing with that anyway.
I noticed you did. Johnny the Bravo F from America, 5 stars. Yeah, being chilly. If you are into fringe topics, talented community input, and Jesus-centeredness, then this is the podcast for you. No other podcast will match the fun energy and intelligent deconstruction, as well as the journalistic integrity. Thank you very much, Johnny the Bravo F.
Johnny Bravo, just hit me or something. Thanks.
Yeah. Chauncey Lump from the U.S. 5 stars. Do not want to visit from Gonz's uncle. Love you guys and love this show. Love it, guys. Appreciate all y'all do. God bless. Thank you very much, Chauncey Lump.
Thank you, Chauncey Lump.
Chauncey Lump. Gailey Mack from the U.S. gives 5 stars and says, listen and be wowed. Basil and Gonz present the news combining the seriousness with a lot of tactful humor. I transformed from just a listener learning about the truth behind the lies we are subjected to from the news and press clippings to an active member of the CCNT family in live chat and as a producer of every show. It's so evident that Basil and Gonz spend hours seeking out wisdom from biblical prophecies that have already been fulfilled and are currently happening, giving credence to the word. I thank God for CCNT family who graciously offer anyone a safe, honest environment to learn and laugh. Thank you very much, Gailey Mack.
Thank you, Gailey Mack. That was very kind.
Now we've got a
series.
This is going to get funny. Sentinel's friend from the U.S. says, great show, 5 stars. This podcast is so good, I had to awkwardly ask for my friend's phone to leave a review. Great news, deconstruction, and super encouraging. Give it a try. Thank you very much, Sentinel's friend.
Sentinel's friend.
If that is your real name. Next, we've got Hush. I'm not sure how to say this. HSHDH Shadbush. Ashada Shadbush from the U.S. 5 stars. Best podcast. This podcast is the best. Get the truth behind the news without being discouraged. Definitely give it a try. Good advice. Thank you very much. Sentinel's other friend from the U.S. gave 5 stars and says, coolest podcast. This podcast is essential if you want to see through the lies in the mainstream media. Get the facts and encouragement. 10 out of 10 podcast. Thank you, Sentinel's other friends. Sentinel's got a lot of friends. Speaking of which, this is coming from friend of the Sentinel from the U.S. 5 stars, coolest podcast. If you are sick of the mainstream media brainwashing you, then this podcast is for you. Get the best deconstruction of the media while also being encouraged. Thank you, friend of the Sentinel. Who could be next? Sentinel's best friend is here from the U.S. Wow, Sentinel had a whole review party. I feel like maybe that's what everybody should do. Think of all the reviews. Sentinel's best friend gives 5 stars. Best podcast, hands down. This podcast is the best. Get news, deconstruction, and encouragement at the same time. You cannot afford to pass this show up. That's what I've been saying, folks. You can't afford to not listen to the show or produce the show for that matter. Chauncey Lumps is back again.
Oh, you got more? I didn't see the first one.
I did not know this was possible.
Oh, I didn't know he had 2. I only see 1, but maybe you have one from another country?
I have 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Chauncey Lump. Chauncey. Yeah. I don't know how it's possible, but yeah, I got 2 from Chauncey Lump. Great show, fellas. 5 stars. Do not want a visit from Gonz's uncle. Yeah, he really doesn't. Thank you, Chauncey Lump. Yeah. Okay, and that concludes all of the reviews.
Very good.
Thank you. We got more than 5, which means those algorithms are busy showing the show to a bunch of people who have never seen or heard of it before. And that's what we want, baby. And you know it makes me go, ooh, ooh. We did it. And for those who haven't left a rating and a review, please do so. Every week is a new week, and we need 5 or more reviews every single week to keep those iTunes robots sharing the show with new people who've never heard it before. We get hundreds of new people finding the show every week if we can get those reviews. But don't take it from me. No positive encouragement from me. Take it from Gonz's uncle.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Bing chilling. Ugly, horrible person.
He said it, not me, folks. So please go leave a rating and review, especially on Apple Podcasts, where most of you are listening to the show. You already are holding your phone in your hand. You're busy checking your Twitter, and you're not leaving a rating and a review. So put down the Twitter, leave a rating and a review, and we'll love to read it on the show. And it's very important. Okay. Anything else?
Social media?
I don't have it. But please post on social media. Post our links. go to Canary Cry Clips. Share some of those clips on your social media. I promise I will start thanking the social media folks again. I have not gotten that aggregator up because it's just so hard to skim all of social media for mentions. But mention us, tag us, post links to our clips, things like that. And again, it really, really helps the show out. And we are very grateful for it. And consider those who post about the show to be, part of the family, part of the production team. I mean, that's marketing, baby. Let's go. So please post about the show. Well, thank you.
There you go.
Other than that, produce next episode. It's the only way the show goes. It's the only way it happens. No producers, no production. It's just logic, folks. So you can go to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
Yep, head on over there. There's plenty of ways to support the show, and it means a whole lot. Not just to us, but also to thousands and thousands of people all around the world who are grateful for the support of our producers, because it's the only way the show can keep going. So if you want to join the revolution, hold up that rebel fist in the air as the New World Order attempts to control the flow of information in so many different ways. Independent media can and is often a farce when it is supported by corporate money, whether it be, advertisements or affiliate codes or all those other things that the corporations use as bait to help independent media producers survive, but also to influence what they can and they cannot talk about. And we're taking value into our own hands. This is power to the people. Power in our own hands. Independent media can only be kept alive independently. There is no alternative. And so if you want to join us in that, become demooched and produce the show. And I want to thank the people who produced this episode. These are the people who brought you this episode. Without them, there would be no show. So let's say a little prayer for them, starting with our executive producers, Bev W., James D., and Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Thank you three so much. And thank you to our other beautiful producers, Lady Night Wing, Little Wing. Is that what it is? Yes. Lady Night, Little Wing. Thank you. Ciara F, Sir JC. Whoa. Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch. LX Protocol V2. Melanie M, Jonathan F, Sir Samon's Night of the Fishes. Morph. Sir Casey the Shield Knight. Sir Scott, Knight of Truth. Sir James Knight and Servant of the Tribe of Judah. Jackie U, Runk Smash. Gonz, don't do that. Gail M, Veronica D, Doctor Who Done That. Thank you so much. Oh, he's moving around all the names while I'm trying to read them. Yes, thank you all. Other than that, you can produce the show in lots of ways, not just financially. But if you're a creative person, create art, music, jingles, Legos, microfictions, whatever. Use your brain, your imagination, co-create with the creator and bring something into this world that has not existed before. Make it for the show, buy the show, send it on into the show. We'll feature it on the show. It's easy as that. You can also produce the show by joining our back-end producers, people who volunteer their time to doing the myriad of time-consuming things that equip this show to reach as many people as possible. But not only that, make a deep impact on those individuals. People like our clippers or our timestampers or any number of other things. Sometimes we don't even know what we need until somebody contacts us, leaves us, a list of their skills and interests and maybe what they want to learn. We're totally into helping people learn new skills. There's been people who have lost their jobs during the pandemic and had extra time and started doing stuff for us, learned new skills to go on their resume and, improve their chances of employment and things like that. It's a real deal. We're an actual something reminiscent of an organization. So you can go to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support. And at the bottom of that page, you'll see a little form. It's a fun form. Don't worry. worry. It's not scary. If you fill that form out, it'll tell us a bunch of stuff about you that will help sort of place, we can learn about you, and together we'll find a way that you can make a huge impact on the show. So go check that out. Other than that, you can share the show, share it out on your social media, tweet some links to the clips, baby. It's all good. But, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it any number of ways. Maybe you need to take a book from some sort of authoritarian despot calling for a self-purification. And, that gets a lot of attention. It might be crazy. It might be like sort of like a diabolical sort of evil thing to say. But, it's all about context, because, what oftentimes needs self-purification? Our podcast list. I know. Sometimes we subscribe to so many things, and suddenly we can't even keep up with all the weekly episodes. I feel like I might be starting to sabotage our own podcast at this exact moment, Gonz, because we put out so many episodes. But here's the thing.
It's true.
People need to know.
There's a thing about overkill.
People need to know. They need to know that if their podcast list does not include Canary Cry News Talk, they need to make room, baby. We need to make room. We need to kick out some of those podcasts. Let's say some NPR, smooth talking, whispery voices, NPR podcasts. They're out, baby. They're out. We need to get Canary Cry News Talk in, and we can start a petition. Let's just go to do it the old-fashioned way.
Change.org?
Change.org, baby. Change.org. Funded by, what is it? Funded by, not Vote Blue. What is it?
I don't remember.
I forget what it is. Some Democrat CPAC or something. Go to change.org. We need to start a petition, get 100,000 hamsters to sign that petition. That Canary Cry News Talk is made the national anthem of the world. I don't know why the hamsters are in there, but it's important. They're very influential, cuddly little creatures. And we'll just make Canary Cry News Talk the national anthem of the world, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know what? So many things are changing. We're re-envisioning what society can look like. Certainly a podcast with 3 episodes every single week can sort of create some system of revolving, ever-changing national anthem where children will need to stand up in school and just recite every episode word for word by memory in order to show their allegiance to the Canaryverse. I don't know, man. I'm running out of ideas, but I think that could work. And you, dear producer, you're the one with the ideas around here. I'm just sort of I'm here to help facilitate whatever crazy idea you have. And if you need any more instructions, we call it rattling cages. All you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for another week of shows.
Thank you, Gonz. Thank you for that. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Connect. Oh, you're
turning into Biden.
Yeah.
You should start whispering.
You know the thing. Give us your data. Listen to Canary Cry News Talk. Think outside the cage.
Listen to us in your earbuds.
You're in the cage. Think outside of the cage.
We're all gonna make it.
This new microphone really picks up the whispers a lot better than my other one. This is Basil with your ASMR cage thinking experience. I'm here to give you those tingles as the podcast ends.
You want to hear the canary Gail sent us?
Yeah. Hold on, let me get a piece of paper. Crinkle a piece of paper. I don't have any paper.
Okay,
there's no paper within reach. Oh yeah, that's that is. Okay. End the show.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy.
Cosmos, children in the space lane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space plane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward on board. The passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Avius anchor.
We have Basil. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space lane.
We are headed to space.
My beloved brothers, as exiles in a foreign land, I urge you to guard yourselves from the passions of the flesh. Keep your conduct honorable among the unbelievers, so that when they speak against you, they may see your works and glorify God. Be subject to every human institution for the sake of the Lord, whether it be to the king or to the governors appointed by him. It is the will of God that by doing good you silence the ignorance of foolish people. Live as free men, not using your freedom as an outlet for evil, but living as servants to God. Love your brothers, fear God, and honor the king. Be subject to all your leaders with respect, not only to the kind and gentle, but also to the unjust. This is a gracious thing, to be mindful of God and endure sorrow while suffering unjustly. For what is there to gain if when you sin and suffer for it, you endure? But if you suffer for doing good and endure, this is a gracious thing in the sight of God. Christ suffered for you, leaving you an example, so that you might follow in his steps. He committed no sin, nor was deceit ever found in his mouth. When he was attacked, he did not attack in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to the one who judges justly. If you should suffer for righteousness' sake, know that you will be blessed. Have no fear, nor be troubled, but in your hearts honor Christ, our Lord, as holy. Always be prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you. Do it with gentleness and respect, having a good conscience, so that when you are slandered, those who revile your love in Christ may be put to shame. It is better to suffer for doing good, if that should be God's will, than to suffer for evil. For even Christ suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God. Being put to death in the flesh made him alive in the spirit. Therefore, he went and proclaimed to the spirits in prison, those who did not obey, as God's patience waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was being prepared, in which a few, that is, 8 persons, were brought safely through the waters. Now it is baptism, which corresponds to this, that saves you. not as a removal of dirt from the body, but as an appeal to God through the resurrection of Jesus Christ, who has gone into heaven and is now at the right hand of God. All the host of heaven, authorities and powers have been subjected to him.
warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths!